Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Amina Jimoh Show, a production of the Amina Jimoh Foundation. Here with me today, we have a wonderful person. I call her a lot of things, but before we start, I don't know where you all are from. I know you're watching me from all over the world, but we have a tradition and we have a culture. She's my friend, but she's my older friend, and this is how I greet. Mo kúnlẹ̀, mo kì í mà, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Mo mọ̀ pé ẹni kí ló ń ṣe yìí, ṣùgbọ́n mojúbà fágbà ni. Wọ́n kọ́ ni mo tún bọ̀ túra mi kọ́. She's my America. We went to Hajj together. That's Saudi Arabia. We've done a lot of wonderful things. So I'm not going to say much. Before I have her introduce herself, I would first say a happy birthday to my 15-year-old, Hassana. Hassana is 15 today. She says, Hassana, may the Almighty God continue to guide and be with you and direct you. And may all your ways be good. And may you emulate the goodness of your parents. Allahumma ameen. Say a prayer for Hassana if you're here. If you've not already subscribed, click on the subscription button, hit on the notification button so that you'll be notified when we are live. So I would have Hajia Bola Ajibola introduce herself, please.
Hello, everyone. So my Muslim families out there, say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To my wonderful fellow human beings, I'll say peace unto you. And good day, good morning, good evening, whatever time of the day you are, I say, I send peace unto you. I'm supposed to introduce myself, a woman of many hats. A woman of many hats, Excellency, as well. So we go far back, like she said. I am Bola Ajibola. I'm founder and owner of Elnalob and CEO. I'm also chairperson of Atlas Growth and Development Foundation in Nigeria, which we focuses on youth sports empowerment program. Also vice chair a lot of other organization. Community Builders for Africa is also one of ours, and we sponsor education programs for children also in Nigeria and Africa at large. So we can go on and go on and go, but life is full of wherever you can serve, do your best to be of service to humanity, and that's our slogan: service to humanity. Um, Is that okay, Hajia?
That's fine. Keep going. It's your, I'm here for you tonight, so that's fine. Feel
That's
free.
good. That's that's great. Um, I'm all yours.
All right. So today's topic is a topic that
Actually,
many.
sorry, I need to say happy birthday to my wonderful daughter, well, granddaughter, my
She's
daughter.
gonna call for you, Grandma.
I
I
know
didn't
you're
hear you
going
say
back to
anything.
watch this. You're at school. I know that. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Have a fruitful life, and
Amen.
you always be an excellence of the day of Islam. Alhamdulillah.
Amen. Alhamdulillah. You already know her. She'll be like, Grandma, did I hear you say anything you didn't remember?
Yeah,
So that was good.
yeah. She didn't say happy birthday to me.
So awesome. That's a good one. So that's to show people that we do care about self-care. We preach about self-care. So you just showed them that we start whatever we preach from home. So we care about ourselves, care about our family, not like the way the narcissist would do it for the public and say, "Oh, here I am, I love you." So I don't care. You have to make your cup full first before you start helping somebody out there. Am I now saying do not help anyone? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to make sure you take good care of yourself. Don't care about doing things for show. Only do things because of God. I know I have different people watching me. Again, this is not a religious platform. We are just built on religion because that's what my parents taught me. That's why I always pray and say things and like Hajia did. However, it's a humanitarian platform, so I like to keep it as such.
Yeah.
However, I also like to remind people that I always do things with the fear of God. Because tomorrow, who do I have to account to? Not you. I don't care about whoever is watching me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for my grave, for my tomorrow, and for my children's life. Because whatever my parents have done, it's what I would say that I'm eating from today. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So the prayers that they're getting every day, it's all they are left with for all they've done, for all the good things they've done. I see people sometimes think people are foolish if they're doing, giving people stuff. But no, some people cannot be changed because that's how they were raised. So they emulate their parents because it's inbuilt. So even when you are bad to them, fine, they're going to withdraw from you, but they'll still help you. Okay? So that's how they are. So when you see people saying, oh, this person changed, yeah, we preach about boundary. You have to have boundary. However, boundary does not mean it changes who you automatically are. Because if you're saying, I'm not going to help that, sometimes I've helped a lot of my enemies, and guess what? That's what has kept me alive today. I know that. So, Alhamdulillah, I wouldn't get too much into that. I'm seeing
That
all
has
the
to help.
ADF officers are here. I would like to start with the topic that we have today. It's a very dicey one that lots of people do not like to touch, but Ajay and my honorable Hajia, there's no place that you put us in that we can help you govern Nigeria in 1 second. Anywhere you send us to, we'll deliver. Okay? There's no topic that we cannot touch. Oh, TBN, so àwọn ẹni tí mo ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n understand nǹkan tí mo sọ. Abin da nake ne wai da inda kuka aike mu da bara mu iya zauna mu yi magana ba a kowane topic da kuka ba mu a duk Najeriya ko ina. Domin ba wai tsoron kowa muke ji ba sai tsoron Allah. Ibero Allah nìkan ni. It's only when the Almighty God. I always say that mojuba for everybody, but at the end of the day, I'm not being disrespectful, but at the end of the day, it's only Allah that gives whoever wants to harm you the power to. And sometimes it's not like He's giving them the power to because He does not like you. Sometimes He gives them the power to so that while it did to a call long by me, domin ka kai gurin da ya kamata ka kai. Shi yasa in aka maka tsiri asasi, it happens to you sometimes. Okay? Before this show, I didn't know anything about all this, but ìrírí ayé ni mò ń sọ. So what it be ìrírí ayé púpọ̀ wá sí bíbáyìí. Na ce kafin lokacin nan ban san duk maganan abubuwan nan ba. Amma da na fara maganan labaran duniya, shi aka kawo mun duk wayannan maganoni, shine na kai ganewa wai mutane suna tsiri ko kuma suna wannan da ban san duk wannan ba Qur'ani ina kaɗai ne na sani.
Yes.
So we'll leave that at that. Today's topic says how many African women are married but unfortunately single. It's a sad topic. It's something that has to do with a lot of domestic violence. Some are even inside domestic violence and they don't even know it's domestic violence because of how they were brought up or because of how the cycle continued. Because, oh, I saw my mom leave this, so this is what is acceptable. Or I saw my dad. Because believe it or not, men go through domestic violence too. I have statistics. I can show you Nigerian men that have been through domestic violence. So it's not just about women. It's just that women talk. Men sometimes keep quiet because they feel, oh, I'll be less of myself. No, you're not less of yourself. And
No.
that's how people are dying because nobody's listening. So we have to start breaking all those cultural stuff. Why we had this emergency was because of one of the lawyers in Nigeria. I believe they call it barrister in Nigeria. We call it attorney here. And her name, I'm going to go through the topic, the story they sent to me. And that was why I had to create this. I was on vacation in New Jersey and over the weekend when we got this and New York. So it's like a princess celebration. We went to celebrate her birthday. So we went to Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, all in from Friday to, what would I say, Sunday. But to get back to this was very touchy. When I was on that vacation, I had to respond to this, and we had to, I and my Honorable Hajia Bola had to create this to quickly jump on this and give you guys this topic because I looked around and saw that, well, they call them content creator. I'm not a content creator, like I always say, I'm a public figure. So I don't do what trends, only what I believe matter and what the society needs to hear about is what I touch. It's not everywhere that they back that you have to be there. I don't do that. So I'm going to read the inbox message. It says tragedy has struck as barrister Felicia Temitope Odu, who pursued her dream of becoming a lawyer at 56, has reportedly died as a result of domestic violence. Felicia was called to the bar in September 2025 fulfilling a lifelong ambition. But just a month later, in October 2025, her life was cut short in heartbreaking circumstances. According to report, Felicia had endured over 2 decades of abuse from her husband. Despite the violence, she remained the breadwinner. Did you hear that? She remained the breadwinner. I want you to keep taking notes of the family, building their home, supporting her husband, and raising their children. 3 sons. So she has 3 sons.
What a disease.
Even paying their way through school. Sadly, the fatal assault that claimed her life allegedly occurred in the presence of her sons. 3 sons saw you hitting their mother. I hope you're taking note. Sources say her husband was arrested 2 days ago, but has since been released by the police. Felicia Temitope Odun is reportedly set to rest. It says tomorrow, but this was 5 days ago. May her soul rest in peace. Amen. So I went back in because I saw, or actually, let me read some of the comments that triggered this show tonight. These were comments from some Nigerians. Stanley Silver said, how on earth do some of these men find it easy and cool to treat their partners like Black Panther? She should have reported the monster before he got her butchered. All the years of her endurance and career pursuit now wasted. Justice should be served justly. R.I.P. Barrister. Abdulrazak stated, Abdulrazak Alimi stated, domestic violence is dangerous, so sad, and should have a zero tolerance. I felt for the lawyer after managing through life to get her dreams actualized. Her life was cut short. Justice for Deborah. Lumia stated, I don't understand why women stay in abusive relationships. They never born that man, yet continue to rest in peace. They never born that man, meaning she has not seen any man that could try that with her, is what she's saying. I'm translating for the other people that are not um, West Africans because that's a broken English. Sharifa stated, when it comes to domestic violence in marriage, run for your life. Dr. Fabio stated, heartbreaking. Rukaya said, so sad. Abdurrahman Islamia stated, so sad, women should please learn how to leave a violent partner. Peace stated, I don't understand like domestic violence. May I not just talk? Waiting day my mind. I beg, women, if you don't stay in the marriage, would you die? So those are part of what triggered me to tell Hajia that we need to have an emergency show tonight. But before then, this was my own response. I went back and said, I gave it to one of my PAs to post it. I will read. You have to be patient with me. If you want to be here, be here. If you don't want to be here, feel free to exit. I don't force people around me. People who know me know how I operate already. So if you're here, it's for your own good. So I'm not getting any Facebook money or YouTube money. So whatever you want to do with your life, do it. This is just to give back to the society. So here it says, after reading about the Nigerian lawyer barrister Felicia Temitope Odu, who reportedly died as a result of domestic abuse from her husband, Ajay, the Amina Jimoh Foundation AJL felt deeply moved. And she had to create this post to respond to some of the comments shared under our previous discussion. Many asked, why do women stay in abusive marriages or express disbelief that someone could remain in such a situation? It's a painful but necessary conversation that calls for empathy and understanding, not judgment. Imagine this. She was a barrister, a woman, a mother who fulfilled her lifelong dream at 56. And she was also the breadwinner of her home, yet she still lost her life to domestic violence. Now, think about women who don't have any job, no business, or source of income. Those depending 100% on their husbands for survival. If someone as accomplished and independent as Barrister Felicia faced this tragedy, what happens to women who have no financial or emotional support? You tell me. I ask this because sometimes people assume that only women who are useless and jobless or considered liability are the ones that go through or experience abuse. But this is not true. Domestic violence is never a victim's fault. Most most abusers are narcissistic, and many come from narcissistic families. Even when victims try to salvage the relationship, the abuser's family can laugh smear campaign to silence the victim, discredit them, and stop them from seeking help, among many other manipulative tactics. Our abuser is never about, remember, for an abuser, no matter what you do, you are never enough. Remember that. You're never ever enough. Abuser and abuse is never about what the victim did. So remember, it's not about what you're doing or what you're not doing. It's about control, insecurity, and power. Domestic violence comes in many forms. We have the physical abuse, beating, slapping, or physical harm. I'm saying all this because some people don't know what domestic violence is. They think it's only about hitting. Then we have the emotional, psychological abuse, manipulation, humiliation, hot and cold when they start withdrawing back and forth, when they gaslight you, breadcrumbing, giving you a little bit of love for 1 second, then you go back, and then they withdraw, they take it away because they're like, you know how cat and dog, Mickey Mouse, that's how they do the breadcrumbing, or they isolate you. Once the abuser isolates you, because they have to isolate you from other people that will talk to you to leave. So they don't like it when you actually have friends or families. They try to separate you from people who will rescue you. Financial abuse, control access to money or opportunities. Verbal abuse, constant insult, name calling, threats, and emotional intimidation. Then I said, many women, especially African and Nigerian women, remain in abusive homes because of stigmatization. Society still blames women for failed marriages instead of holding abusers accountable. Culturally and religiously, people pressure them. So they are told endurance. You remember that assurance thing? They'll tell you assurance. They'll give you assurance to endure rubbish. If you cannot endure, you're not the wife material. So you endure. Uh-huh. They tell you to endure for the sake of the children, for the child, or family honor. Some
Mhm.
families, too, that know that their child is being abused would rather have that child remain there because they don't want to have anyone in their family being called that this one have, divorced or divorcee or whatever they call it. I don't know. Fear and manipulation. Many are emotionally trapped by promises of change or fear of worse consequences. Sometimes you have abusers who tell you, if you leave me, you're going to die. Oh, yes, even in America. If you leave me, one person will die. There is a story like that. People that are watching, some will remember the story. Somebody said, if you leave me, somebody will die. And this lady has 2 children with that unfortunate Okbonu. So, although she had the power to leave, she couldn't leave because she didn't know who would die. And she works with people that she knows that he can definitely kill her anytime. So she had to be careful. Because sometimes people will say, why didn't you leave? Or you tell people to leave. You do this kind of job. Trust me, even when you're a police officer, there are points where you have to look at the situation and be damn careful because you don't know who the fuck is going to die. Excuse my language. You don't know who is going to die, so you have to be careful. So, economic dependency. Some simply have no safe alternative or means to start over. So I think we lose Hajia? Okay, I don't know. I think she'll be back when she yeah. I don't know what's going on with her system. But they remain, in there. It says no woman deserves abuse and no man deserves abuse. I know we're talking about a woman, but I always preach what is good for the woman is good for the guy too. So nobody should remain in an abusive relationship. And no matter, your circumstances, marriage should be a place of peace, not somewhere you have to endure. And it should be about love, not fear. As a society, we must change the narrative. We must stop asking, why didn't she leave? Or why didn't he leave? And start asking, why did he abuse her? Or why did she abuse him? You need to start letting people speak up. You need to start letting survivors and start believing survivors because a lot of times these idiots, like I call them, are very sweet talkers and they'll make the victim look like the perpetrator. So you guys have to really be careful when you're judging cases, okay? And start asking why did he or why did she abuse him? We must educate, support, and empower victims to speak up and rebuild without shame. May the soul of Barrister Felicia Temitokbe Odu rest in peace. Her story remains, and her story remains with us. We've learned from it. Nobody use our own story to learn too, because sometimes we will say, "Wow, I want to experience." Some idiots too will say they want to experience before I don't understand before they can leave. Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kẹ́ experience orí ibú. Gbogbo yín tẹ̀ mọ́ ń tap round káàkiri. Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ tap round. You see people, nobody brings their sorrow sometimes too. It's not everybody that is raw like this. that will tell you things as it is. So not everyone will come online and tell you, oh, my husband is hitting me, or my wife is hitting me, or I'm in pain. They show you the good part. I see a lot of people sometimes tapping. May you not tap into rubbish.
Amina.
Because I wouldn't call people's name, but you see all these new trending things. Me, I don't touch them because I don't have time for things like that. However, be careful with what you are tapping for. When you are praying, be contented with what you have. Once you start having Iman, Iman is like faith that you can reach where you want to reach. Wallahi, you will get there. Ali, it can take long.
Okay.
Come on, look at you, but you will get there. Breathe, patient. Boju long approach is what puts people in trouble. So we'll go back to
Let's go.
ask Ajia about why do so many women, or would I say African women, feel feel married but completely alone?
Le- Um, Thank you, Hajia, and to our audience, I'll say I hope you take a little bit from this. One thing I want us to go back to, because this is a cycle of life. Um, and when I told Hajia, I was doing some research, like Nigeria, what is really going on? And growing up, if you grow up in the city in Nigeria, or even in rural community, I tend to see that we probably took it as normal, but that the society has been embedded with this defined um, violence, domestic violence, and sometimes even some children grew up in it. Parents can be abusive to their children. I mean, we call it parental abuse, but it's also part of domestic violence, if you have to look at it. So some of these people have probably experienced that. Um, if you see a typical Yoruba person, or maybe the Igbos does that, the first thing they do is cost out their children. Whether it's abusive, you're cussing out a child. It's abusive. Whatever, they're cussing you out just to do minor things. So you're ripping that child off of their self-esteem. So we're going to start from there. So at least maybe you can correct that. Even some of us abroad or anywhere, they still do it. It's the first thing, because that's the environment they grew up in. If you diminish an individual's self esteem, they will not be able to stand up for themselves. So when you look at the situation in Nigeria, it's almost, the statistics says 1 in 3 women. So they're probably, if I take another person with me and Nigeria, one of us has either experienced it, going through it, or we eventually go through it. So that tells you how traumatic this incident is. And in our culture, which I don't even believe is a culture, I think they've just dehumanized women to just accept it. So when you look at it and you're going through something, even among siblings, it can be abusive when parents are supposed to correct it. When a child slap another one for no reason other than you can communicate it, and it's abuse, it is abuse. And say, "Eh, yeah, you are for now, you are encouraging that child to grow up to be an abusive adult or a violent adult. So that is where our mistakes comes from. That we've endured this, and once somebody is grown with it, what do? Oti dibara kubi Yoruba shimashe. So let's look at our environment and be a change in that society. You're going through hardship, especially now. They said during COVID, even in Nigeria, it was more rampant because what economic issues were going on, and it's coming up again. It's not COVID this time, but the global economic situation is going to bring out a lot of violence. So we need to really look at it. In America, let's say those people that are working with governments, our government has been shut down now for a month. So they're probably not going to get a salary in November. and we're paying rent tomorrow, how do you think that household would be? This is what causes things. And when you can identify problems that might create it, you're able to have a strategy of solution to defend yourself, or really have a thing in place. But because as a community, we don't talk, I call it table talk. This is a table conversation. Let's have dinner. Hey, the phone bill is due. We don't have it. Hey, what do you want me to do with it? That's already like aggressive. So we need to be able to have a conversation and be respectful of that. Because this is where it starts. It's not that a man just wake up and start beating you. One tiny thing will just lead to that violence. So you need to be very, very cautious. And also, like I said, because most of the women, our self-esteem has been stripped right from childhood, from our parents. Now you need to self-identify with yourself. Who are you? What are you? Yorùbá ní ohun tí èèyàn ò ní gbà lólówó àti tálíkà ni kò ti kọ. What you will not accept as a rich person, don't take it because you're in poverty. Determine
wọ́n ní
yourself.
nǹkan tí ọba kí ń fẹ́ àti tálíkà ni ó ti ń kọ̀ pé mo
So,
kàkà òkúta ni.
people will say, we probably identify some of us that have been ọmọ dáadáa láti kékeré pé this person.
mo láìkí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ ẹ̀ ọmọ
You know,
dáadáa láti kékeré.
so let's go
ọmọ
out.
dáadáa láti kékeré because they raised you with that self-esteem that wọ́n tí bí ara ẹ̀ lẹ́nu náà
Exactly.
pé kì í ṣe ọmọ wọlé lọ gbèsè. That's why we are like that.
Thank you. Nadia. When you look at it, I'll challenge our men, because your daughter sees you as the first role model of a man. If you're abusive towards a mother and you're abusive towards her, she's going to find an abusive man, because that's the only thing she's conditioned to expect. So, those type of behavior, and like I have all boys. I always tell my son, hey, I'm grateful for the father that I have. I am so grateful. May so rest in peace. I am so grateful because from childhood, he will tell me, and it starts from there. Small things like that. So my mother will say, you are spoiling now. Maybe both of them are right, both of them are wrong at one point. Because I'm always using every man as a measuring stick that cannot meet up to my father. Not like I expect them to, but you have to value me as a woman and as a human being that brings the same thing to the table. And
But if I
respect.
can add to that, Hajia, you
Mm-hmm,
just said your father did those things with you.
mm-hmm.
So imagine what you told us before, saying if the father has been abusive, that's what she looks up to in men. So
Amen.
just like you, that is what made you say, hell no, I'm not going to take this because this is not what I saw at home. And this is
Exactly.
where the problem comes because you're like, hell no, this is not me. This is not for me. You're not giving me the dish that was, I was
Exactly.
raised with.
Once you're
So
even growing
that's
up,
fine.
even if your parents are not like that, we came from a culture where community raising so you see other aunties either going through it or coming to your house to come and say what happened, and you'll be like, me ke, emeka. Or àwọn àǹtí ìlú òyìnbó tó máa tún dé, the husband start to go a while and the woman will run crazy and they think, oh, it's okay. You get mental health from all this issue. You get financial abuse. You get all this. So we have to start as parents to see, what do we want our children to be. Not just, I want my child to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever. That is
Or
not.
married to a billionaire.
Or
That's
a
what most
billionaire,
of them do. They
that
don't
is
care if they are killing them. They should just be billionaire.
that is really nonsense, because you've not created any value.
Though, sorry to cut you off. Though, àwọn olórí butálíkà náà ń ṣe o, àwọn gan ni wọ́n ń ṣe jù.
Cut
It's the
it short.
useless
It doesn't
ones.
matter.
Wọ́n ò ní kọ́ àwọn olórí bú yẹn, àwọn gan ni wọ́n ń ṣe
Uh,
nísìn.
in fact, it's more common among low income people as
Hmm.
well as high earners as well. So it's across board. There's no economic socio-economic situation that this thing does not exist. So we have to be very careful. And that's why I said, as a woman, even as a man, self care, you first. Before you say, I do, have you set up your standards? Have you set up your value system? What would you take? What will it take? What will it not take for you to get into this? And I'm not saying every little argument you need to be divorced.
No.
Àwọn àtẹnu wọn ń jà. You will
Then,
not remove your tongue because your teeth beat the tongue now. So, you just need to design a way of communication when you have issues. And that's the most vital part of it. So, when I was looking at all this research in Nigeria, and it says pregnant women have a higher statistics of this situation, I'm like, why is that? When you are pregnant, the first time is always good news. You're so happy, da 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 da, and all that. Oh, we're gonna have a child, da da da. After that honeymoon of you're gonna have a child, the woman start going through a series of emotions and imbalance and all that. Sometimes she has energy, sometimes she doesn't want to do anything. The husband comes in, the whole house is a mess. Problem starts. Or they had the baby already and she hasn't finished the cooking and the other, and you come in and you want food at the table, bam, problem starts. If she says something else, I want bed. Auntie, are you the only woman to be pregnant? Are you the only woman to be this? Are you the only woman to just have a child? And they still do the no. Seek first to understand as a man. When that woman makes, or you think like things are changing, oh, you in Mandela, get a house help. At least in Nigeria, you can afford that. Or here.
when you say àbúrò rẹ̀ kó wá, àbúrò tó gbádùn tí kì í ṣe olórí ibú mi tí ò àtúmọ̀dá
Yeah,
láàmú.
so I was going to retract that too. Even some family, let's say they even live in a community compound, and some family go alara are the initiator of this abuse. They're the one that are even abusive, not the husband at that point.
Yeah.
So they will be the one, and that's why I say, as parents, this abusive thing it cuts across everything in Nigeria. It's not just in relationship. Your siblings can be abusive to you, so it's still abuse. It doesn't matter because it's coming from your siblings. It is still abuse. So you need to be very cautious of that and know what you will stand for and what you will not stand for. And as a community member, when we see wrong, we need to be able to correct it, either in actions by words or reporting it, or reporting it. If we're doing all this live and you go on Facebook like that, you can do a little clips and post it so the person know that they're being in this social media world.
Or when they even come and start smearing that person, why don't you have the
You
fear of
listen
God to
to
tell them
negative.
the truth? Not because somebody is your friend, you tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you have something that you have to account to. If you feel, oh, this person is my friend, I have to protect them, you're not protecting them. If somebody is an abuser and all you could do is encourage them to continue, I pray for you that one day it happens to your own child or somebody around you to know how it feels.
and that's the key thing right there. Even if somebody comes and tell you, "Oni agbejo apá kan dá, àgbà òṣìkà ni." So even when somebody tells you something, be the woman or the man, first of all, wọ́n ní kẹ́ kọ́kọ́ dá onítọ̀hún ní calm down, sùúrù, patience. Let's say what exactly, because sometimes when we're even having this issue, we're not even talking about what the problem is. Somebody has financial problem, you're saying they didn't put food on the table. How does that correlate? But you know that it's financial. So what exactly is the problem and what can you do to either help redirect them on how to have a solution or not be an additional problem to them? So we need to be very careful about that. So whether we're intervening, and luckily in the Western world, there are resources available for certain things. Well, maybe I should say for limited time, because we're going through our own challenges now in the States. So, but even if there is none, being respectful in our conversation to one another is very important. Èèyàn kan gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́wúrẹ́ kíyàn jágùntàn. Say, if you notice that either your wife or your husband doesn't have a high pitch tone, and when you're having this conversation, they already started raising their voice or is becoming, have a way to step back. Èmi dẹ̀ máa ń ní nǹkan kan téèyàn bá sọ fún ẹ pé mo máa pẹ́, èèyàn máa kú. Èèyàn máa kú o, ọjọ́ yẹn lẹ mọ̀.
That's very true. Or she
Ọjọ́
said,
yẹn lẹ
if
mọ̀.
somebody says you're going to back by, because I
I'm
don't
going
want
to
to keep
fight
saying
you.
that,
I'm going to
you
kill
know?
you. You're just this. You're just that. You like, oh, she does it too, or I'll smack this on your head. One day they'll do it
Yeah.
because you've not really addressed that situation, so they don't stop it saying it. Or
And
they
also, to add to that, I believe boundaries from the beginning is
exactly.
very important.
That's why I
When you're
said
doing
before
your
you
lovey
go in,
dovey, because a lot of people get carried away. Everybody has been there. You get carried away that sometimes you've told them about your boundaries, true, but they might want to try you to see how far they can go.
they can
So
go.
once you take it the first time, an abuser would say, "Oh, she took me back. I'll do it for the rest of my life." That's what you're going to do with.
What she's gonna do? One try, either that one try you end up going to marriage counseling, or if you have a good I don't want, religious counseling or spiritual counselor, that could read a very good one that will really so you can use that as an intervention. Yes, like I said, sometimes things just get out of hand and both of you are in each other's face. I tell women, don't be in a man's face, because it's very easy. It's like me training my children, and my kids will say, you better be 10 feet away from her, because if that African woman do this, you are getting it. So it's the same thing when the person that has most authority, and you have to say that abuse is pretty much a struggle of power, a domineering space. You want to be the dominant one, or is I want to control, I want to be in charge, and any other talk is less than. So you have to see when that comes up in your conversation or in an argument, and where you don't, especially when it even happened outside your home. Because in Nigeria, in the Western world, they try to restrain themselves, but in Nigeria, it can happen outside. Máa yẹn á ti fọ́ ẹ létí kó tó mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, or á ti sọ̀rọ̀ sí ẹ bí ẹranko kan before you know what it is. So when you want that respect and you know that's the type of person that person is, just kind of look the other way or go to your own distraction, because you also have to be, I say, the abuser there to the abused. You have to have a way to manage a situation, and that's where it always gets out of hand. But it was to say, oh, I'm marrying this guy, he has a good job, he has this, all this is flourishing, and then you walked in there, you said, untodun, onikikoro, and it becomes so abusive. You've made a wrong choice from the start, because your intention into that situation was wrong. And what you got there was not what you were expecting. So you need to redefine the purpose. Will that person change? Good luck, I say. So always, always be very careful when they say change. It's not like people cannot change, but they must be willing to work at it. If it's anger, they need to be able to work at it. If it's some situation in their past that has made them that aggressive, they must be willing to work at it. So you cannot just say, oh my change, cooking shaking it, cooking shake back. So outside, look at how that person relates to you. Even when you are dating, some of them are like that. But you just say, oh, okay, Sheleni, So you need to be very careful how we give excuses and how we label things incorrectly.
And I think the Okanshele means it just happened.
By accident.
Yangunya Paru.
Uh-huh.
Just it's like when they are still in denial, is when they say that Okanshele. So we'll move to the second question. How can a woman tell if her marriage is slowly draining her soul?
That's the key question there. Knowing yourself first. Once you start to see a decline in your functionality, in your daily functionality, if you're in good health, is it because of this person? Some of us, when we're going through uh, uh, um, situations like this, we will probably do more hours. We don't want to come home. We'll be working so much as an excuse that you need money, but you know it's because you do not want to go and face what is at home. That's where you need to be watching. Why am I doing that extra shift? It's not because you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house or do this. It is because you are escaping that frustration in that home. You want him or her to be asleep before you walk in, or you want to leave the house before he or she wakes up. Those are the situation most of the time. So any changes, and that's being truthful to yourself. That's why I keep saying you identify with whom you are. If I'm always exhausted mentally, that's where it starts to affect you first. You're mentally exhausted. Every little thing you're exhausted. What is it? What relationship are you having with yourself or others? Because I'm going to say with others, it's not only in your house, it's the husband. Sometimes they're your family. Toxic family are also abusive. And then when you do that, you carry that toxicity of your family into your own home or your own environment. So let's call it what it is.
And with the culture, when you say toxic family, with the Yoruba, sometimes they say, "Shemo Shegbe, am I your mate?" So it's like whatever they say, they believe they can use their foolish toxic life on you
On you.
and gaslight you at any goddamn time and then ask you, "Are you okay? Are
Exactly.
you okay?" And then you say yes, wahala. You say no, wahala. Wahala means trouble. So it's like either way, they will just drain you. Sometimes
Exactly.
you look at yourself and you're like, what the heck did I get myself involved with? So no matter how good you are or how you're trying to say you'll be respectful to this auntie or brother or uncle, they will still see you as the problem because they call you aburo. Aburo means the younger one. So anything they do, you have to take. So like Mama said, we have toxic families too. Most abusers are raised from this, whether you
This,
like it or not. Every family sometimes has that narcissistic person
no
that
family is exempted. Let me just tell you that right now. If there are four of you in a family, because even if we do a show here and talk about family issue, you will see some of these trends we're talking about in that family. So if there's got to be one person that just want to be an outcast. So you have to know that, and that's where I can't stress it enough to have boundaries, where you need to know, like, oh, okay, now let's take a situation. Even if you're in Nigeria, it still does happen. You have a mother, maybe you are in Lagos, and your mom is in Bekuta or Ibadan or Ilorin or somewhere. The economic situation of those geographical areas are different. Now, the pressure is too much. You need to pay your child's school fees. You need to find a way to get, and they haven't paid your salary for the last 2 weeks, and they're calling you like you need to send money now. We don't have this. It's not like you're not going to. It's a two-way. The condition in the lorry or Abekuta is not any different. In fact, Lagos is worse. Abuja is worse because those are high-priced areas. So if they're not going to have patience and endurance, hey, my dear, Any just in my name I send it. And because all they want you to now have is guilt trip. And so fake be power kuni. Emma mumi eleku.
Wow. Ah.
So, and when we're abroad, that trouble is even twice as much. They didn't pay if I did. They didn't ask me if I didn't pay my 1,500 mortgage. They want 1,500 from me. So you have to be able to like
But
decide.
you are in share.
You have to be able, and you better not tell them that your mortgage is
They'll
1,500.
help you find rent.
That means you are paying 2.5 million a month to live in the house, or I only base it.
They'll
Now one
find
conversation.
calculator for you and ask you, surely pay, And that's
So
another stupid
it's
thing.
no win situation.
Stop calculating Nigerian naira with staying
Yeah,
here. You will just run
you
cuckoo.
run
Have
crazy.
a life and live.
So
Okay.
have a
That's
time.
where all this wahala starts in marriage because they are calculating Nigerian naira. They'll call their family to their own family to this sorry bedri. They will now tell them, iye tí àwọn òbí fi ṣe ọbẹ̀ ní o. They will now
Uh-huh.
start quoting the woman like crazy. But it's two different systems.
It's two different systems, and the problem is even compounded when that in-law, ex-law, when they come and visit.
Yes, Lord, no.
And then and then you bought all this, and they see you either, especially if you are using cash, and you give them $100 at the grocery store and you didn't collect change.
Yeah, Ralade.
Hey, so it'd be like, no wonder they can't build house in Nigeria. Who is going to live in the house you want me to build? So that woman is in trouble, or the man is in trouble, especially if the mother thinks it's the woman that is working. She has the better job than the husband. So it's her daughter that is just taking care of expense. Or the man is the one taking it as a good job. And the mother think, no wonder. When I ask for 10 naira, he will say, you have to go and wait. So this is ashes. So you have to be able to see all those things. Don't just be angry because you want your voice heard. Reason, have a reasoning faculty for those things. That woman, if you're a woman, this will help you through stress to not frustrate yourself at all. Even when one side wants to escalate, you'll be able to know that this is what is going on. Yeah, I can speak from years and years of experience, or just seeing things that goes on with the younger ones. But we have to, once you identify, like Amy, oh, she's so selfish. Nothing is wrong with that. I always tell people, if you say I'm a single mother, Miriam was the first single mother, and she was an outcast. They went to go and do fornication. She went to go and do this. So why are you worried?
Some people don't know who Miriam is. Who are you referring to, Hajia?
Mary in the Bible, she's
In the
called Mary.
Bible. Okay.
In the
Okay.
Bible, she's called Mary. In Islam, she's Miriam. And you just how did she have Jesus? Nobody knows the father, but to me, she's the first single mother. She's the first single mother, and we knew what happened to her. So don't think your own is any excuse. And when you combine it with the dynamics of culture and wherever you are from, you're gonna get it. I mean, I pray with other Arabs or other Middle Easterners. Being single as a woman, you're an outcast.
I tell women on my platform, I don't, a lot of times they post a lot about it. Some wonder, oh, you're not talking about single mother, single wait, single. I was like, get a life, stop tagging yourself single mother, single whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that is bad. So don't get me wrong.
So,
I'm those who misquote
when you
me.
say you're a single mother,
All I tell them is call yourself an independent mom.
independent woman.
Do not tag yourself as single mother that they usually I see that as condescending.
Well, because society tagged it to be condescending. Is the
Yes.
society. So if you live in a negative environment with words, you have to be careful how you tag it to yourself. Being single, okay, it's like somebody that hasn't even married. They're not even single, but they've not been married, and they figure like their life is
But
ruined.
you see them calling that is widow, that husband died, single mother. Somebody that left
Exactly.
abusive partner, single mother. Somebody that was
Well,
never married
does
to,
it does it
everything, single mother.
does it
So what kind of category do they put? Well,
people?
it's not like it matters.
So
Like
if they
Hajia said,
actually, if the father took over do their responsibility towards that children, she's not a single mother. They're just not together. She's an independent woman. If the father is taking care of the child, or if the father has the children, the mother is still being nurturing to the child. Maybe they split it. We're just in a separate world and in a separate space.
which is acceptable because it's better to be like that than two
Yeah.
of you go and kill yourselves inside the
So
house. Some people believe it's better they are staying for the children, but like
those children will
Adia
be
was
grown
saying
at
before,
home
they
when
are
they're grown.
emulating the nonsense you are both doing. Some people
Let me.
think, oh, that's a broken home. I don't want my children to be products of broken home, but you're already in a broken home.
Or you're in a blended family. I mean, that's what we now call a blended family. So you need to look at what really suits you. I'm not saying stay single forever. Some people need, if the community actually, as Islam has preached it, or like back in the days in our own culture, we always say it takes a village to raise a child. If we have been emulating that and not took on so much of westernization, we'll all be better off today. Most
But
of
when you even talk about westernization, sorry to,
in
say
family
things.
in raising families. So it's not every westernization is not bad. So let me kind of like expand on that. When I say westernization, when you're uh well, I'm old school. When
Which
we
is
were
okay.
if you're 65 and above, if you're 60 and above, you're old school. If you're 65 and above, you're old school. So when we were growing up, I grew up with my parents. But I can tell you, within 5 kilometers of my house, I better do not BS because somebody is going to discipline you and still talk to your parent. And then you got double discipline. So you kind of watch it and we can correct our children. In the Western world, you dare not speak to everybody's children the way you want to speak to you dare not. So you
Oh
need
yeah.
you need to be that's why we're cautious, and those kids don't have accountability. They don't have accountability to their parents, not to talk of you wanted to correct them. So that's where,
Some of them will take correction, some of them
yeah,
wouldn't.
some of them will take, very few, but because of the laws that we have here, you need to be very careful what you say to other people's children.
Sure. Sure.
It can be construed as um abusive,
Harassment or even
uh,
abuse.
or emotional disturbance. So those
Yeah.
kind of words are thrown out here as well.
Yeah.
uh, so we need to be very very careful about that. And like I say, it takes a village to raise a child. And if we as a community uh, kind of hold ourselves together in a different society and watch out for each other, we're watching out for each other to produce a better product in the environment that we're at. Some of our children will be better, but we are also individualistic. And the same way we keep that abusive and outgoing or dysfunctionality in the home is the same way the children are kept too. So we're too closed up rather than the only time I stay in most of our community is when we party. So let's really pay attention to whom we are, or if you're able to build your own groups of friends or community that you latch into, then we can correct all these issues from childhood. But as an adult that you've already found yourself in it, what steps do you want to take today? Again, I'll say identify your situation. Don't make emotional decision because Hajia Bola came online and said this is abuse, and you're probably the creator of the circle. So you need to look at yourself and see what exactly. What is going on with me? Is it really me? Is it my husband? Is it my children? Is it workplace can be abusive? They want you to work 13 hours, and if you say no, you get fired. You're stressed because of that. So you need to identify what it is. And then write it out. What can you do about it? What do you want to do about it? Because at the end of the day, it boils down to you. I can sit here and tell you that, and give you an outline. If this happens, do this. If this happens. And if you're already in a situation where you feel like it's unsafe, there are hotlines in the US to call. In your community, there's a hotline. Just Google domestic violence. It's either 211.
We are talking about hotline. When some of the abusers people would tell the victim not to call. Over here, you have a lot of people
What
telling victims not to call because
I
they'll say
understand,
they're the bad
but
ones.
this is a strategy for the person that is there. You have to be the determinant, no matter what people put in your head. When you are tired, you either get tired dead or you get tired out. So you can choose which one you want to be. You want to be a punching bag and say, "Oh, I just hit my face on the door." That's your problem. What I'm saying is for you to identify with yourself first. What steps do you want to take? If there are children involved, you're not helping those children. Trust me, you're not. If you die, those children will go on. They'll even be worse off
Absolutely.
than even if you're taking them and you are managing your independence on your
And
own.
they'll hate you for that too
And they will
sometimes.
hate you for that. Especially when they start learning and going, "Oh, I wish he had left. I
Yeah.
wish I didn't let us stay with her. How can he that not?" And he's a man. He can't even defend himself.
I've read in a lot of like women will write stuff on all my platforms and say, "Oh, I'm glad my mother left." Even men, and some will
Yeah,
cry, "I wish my mother did this. I wish my father did this."
exactly.
So sometimes you think those kids will be crying when you are leaving, but they are looking at you like, "What the heck are you staying for?" Like they don't get it.
Here in the US, somebody was saying, "I wish the government will manage it." Even in Nigeria, there's laws, but we know most of the laws in Nigeria are not enforced. Okay, let's say you want to enforce it. I came across that there's probably a group, an NGO uh, that address this issue in Lagos and Abuja. So let's say, and this thing costs money. I don't know how these NGOs get their own money to fund it. Here we can get money to do certain things. But in Nigeria, you want to go and report to the police. Okay, great. That police officer might be an abuser himself or herself. So what is she going to do? Oh, okay, madam. So what do you want us to do? That's usually policeman stuff. What do you want us? You're going to pay them, you're going to do one or two other things, and then they will still probably not do anything until somebody dies, like this lawyer. And then even a few years ago, I think another lady died like that in the East. uh
Osinachi died too.
yes.
Like we're calling women that people know. Because
Yeah,
sometimes, like I wrote there, they will say, "Oh, you don't have a job. It's why they are cussing you out or
I
liability."
mean
So imagine somebody who is the breadwinner
the lawyer
that they
lady.
are hitting every day like this,
Yes.
too.
So yeah, it's across board. It's not whether, and that's why I say it starts with you. I will keep saying it starts with you. Even if you've grew up in like I did say that our parents, they're the first abuser. Your
Mhm.
parents are probably the first abuser, and you've
Oh,
gotten used to it, and you accept that, oh, that's the way our society is. So let's even say I was talking about the laws in Nigeria. I'll come back to their laws, but who has to enforce those laws? You also have to know your right with the law. If they're not going to take, instead of watching somebody talking trash about other people, Get online. Call your government out. Get online. Oh, that's all she can do. This. Well, I'm saying it so other women can learn. Because, like I said, if they say 1 in 3, one of us have gone through it. Some of us have gone through it. And we survived. You have to have the survivor mentality. And that's the key in all this relationship. What do you want to be? How do you want to survive it if you find yourself in that situation? Sticking it out is not always the right answer because it never stops. So when I see some shows like, oh, all these women, they go and sit abroad with their children when that woman finally has a child abroad, did you ask her what she went through? And maybe she survived this kind of abuse and then finally she could come and stay with her child. Those are
Escape
what
route. He
the,
had to do escape route.
escape route. I mean, it's there. And for Muslim, when they say pregnant women experience this most, if you're even if you're a Christian, I know so many Christians that have more than one wife. With our culture permits it. Instead of beating up the woman for whatever reason and she's carrying a child, go marry yourself another one. So, you do not have to be abusive towards her because of whatever it is. And I'm not encouraging our men to just take otherwise.
That's what I wanted to say. That a disclaimer here, because we're in
Yes, the
America,
disclaimer.
and America does not
Women, don't come
authorize
after me.
double marriage.
Don't come
So
after me.
Mama is
Don't
not
say, yeah,
saying
I
you should go
just
and
said
marry
that.
and say
But
Mama said.
let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. No man or woman likes to share anything. But as nature will call it, if you're an independent woman, you really don't have time to babysit a man 24 hours a day. I tell you that because some of them are very demanding. So if there are 2 or 3 of us, hey, guess what? People like Hajia, I'm going about my own business because okay, is there to cook now. I'll even ask her, can you give me some amola and begiri? So when I go, but like I said, jokes aside, if somebody wants to, it's their choice. You're not going to help them feed that woman or send their kids to school. They may not send just to school once they pick up another because financially they can't afford it. Because I always ask, I say, woo, as the Quran says, marry 1, 2. If you can afford it, which one of you can even afford the one wife that you have? Huh? Because if I just says now I want to go and buy my glasses, and it's $250, you say, don't you work?
So you
But
see, that's the double standard there. And that's where you talked about the Western world. I was trying to come in on that, and you brought it back again.
yeah,
So there we have the cultural and the religious that says the man should be the provider.
yes.
The peace, somebody can write all the meaning of the peace, the provider, protector, what have you.
What have
But we're
you?
not finding it now. I call them Achalugo. Achalugo is like a princess, a queen. Like many men are Achalugo right now. I'm sorry to say, I'll hit it the way it is. Many African men, especially Nigerian men. I said
You
many. I did not say all. So whoever the heart fits can wear it.
wear it.
Most of them are Achalugo. Now, it's like they sit down, even to call their girlfriend or their wife to check on her. They are waiting for her to call because they have like that princess treatment. Where are we? What's going on with the society?
Exactly.
Listen, I always say both men and women have a right to feel loved, but everybody
It's
has
all
to
right.
know what they're supposed to be doing. So here we are talking about the culture. You said, "Oh, men alone so men alone so ṣùgbọ́n in ka ce guda uku hudu ne aka ce ka yi
It's
amma ba
only
za
if
ka
you
iya yin abin
it's
da
only if you
addini ya
can
ce wai
afford
ka yi da guda hudun ba ọ lè ṣe nǹkan tí kùránì náà bí bible sọ pé kẹ́ ẹ ṣe pẹ̀lú mẹ́rin kí lè wàá ṣe káàkiri. So sometimes I don't understand the rubbish they spit out.
because
Like
that
you
suits
said.
them. That suits them. The human beings always pick what suits us. We will always put I mean, like I just gave an example that if it's me, If you're an independent woman, number one, no, you don't even look at Chibi. Khadija was the breadwinner for the prophet, but
This
he
is
wasn't
a big deal
abusive,
sometimes.
and he respects that.
Yeah,
But
respect them.
you on the other hand, every man wants to say what I just said. Yeah, Chibi Yodika, yeah, yes, but see how the prophet honored her until her death.
Hmm.
Until her death, he never married another woman. So that is the part they don't tell you.
They wouldn't,
So
because
you
even
and
their
that's
mother.
why that is why you have to know the God you serve. He already said, "Know me before you serve me." You have to know. So, during the war, there are more male men died. So there are more women without a man to kind of. That's why all the he married all those women, so he can honor them. Because for a woman to be under a roof, a man's roof, in an honorable way, it's an honor. It's an honor. But if it's really just to come and dominate or come and shakara, I'm the man of the house. That's the word in Nigeria. I'm the man of the house. Okay, Mr. Man of the house, bring 100,000 naira. I want to go shopping and buy food. While I did.
Fortune Abebu.
I
Did your
bet
father give you that? You
1,000
say,
naira.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sister
over there.
Stanley said men are supposed to be providers, protectors, and preservers.
And
So
preserve.
thank you, Stanley.
So if you can't do all those things, and you're still frustrating this woman that's trying to give you a good image outside, when people think that you are the one really making her what she is, and you're not. So
Look at
why
this one that died now, the lawyer.
the
She's the
lawyer?
one doing everything. And maybe his mother is somewhere cussing her out that she's using his money. So women sometimes go through hell
Yeah, you
in
can't win
trying to keep that
that.
image that, oh, I want to be I want to be married. Before you see a woman leave her marriage, she has tried a lot.
That's a lot.
No woman just picks up a bag. I say that. There are some useless ones, don't get me wrong. They sleep everywhere. Those ones you cannot control.
Oh,
We
she
have
will
those
find out
ones too.
else.
But when you find the good ones, they have tried to
Yeah,
endure this rubbish before they
yeah.
are like, you know what? I'm out of here.
And,
No woman leaves you like that. Even when
and,
you are doing your
and
boyfriend, girlfriend, no woman leaves you like that. She gives you chances. She
yes,
tells you, wants you. And then when you start abusing it, she cuts you off. Some will just go, cold turkey. So
exactly.
that's about that. We're going to move to the next question. Why do women stay in marriages that leave them unhappy or abused?
One in Torium. I think it's low self-esteem, honestly. I think women that leave, they said they always use their children, or what will people say, which I wouldn't really. Even when you say what will people say, it's part of your self-esteem, because you are not the other person. You don't know what that other person is going through either. God has given us mouth so we can talk. So let them talk. That's my own philosophy. And but again, saying that children financial, yes, it's also been proven, statistics says, and that's why I say when we use community to raise our children, that children raised with two parents turned out better, and I've also seen children raised with two parents turn out the worst than single parents children. So it depends. As a researcher, it depends on what you're looking for. You'll find it negative or positive. So I believe that children raised in a loving, conducive environment will always turn out better, regardless of whether a man or a woman. And if we as fathers are willing to be, champion of those boys, it even helps better. That's where the community comes in. Don't look at and in this society, in the Western society, you always look after. Oh, I don't want this woman next to my man. I don't want this. So that is where the problem starts. Instead of your man to help the woman, you think every man or every woman sleeps with your husband. It is not the way of life. That means you're being selfish. That means the man that, if nobody belongs to anybody, we're all steward of God. We're helpers of one another. Don't think because something might happen. Again, this is part of your own self-confidence. Something might happen. If it's meant to be, it will be. You can shield that man all you want. You don't even know. You think the one that is trying to help is the one that is sleeping with. It may be someone that you don't even know at his workplace.
Or one that calls you even
Or
auntie.
the other that calls you
Oh,
and say,
mama,
me, auntie me, oh, da da da.
auntie me or mommy. Or you are calling the person mommy. Because
Or
I've
you
seen
calling the person mommy. Another thing that always, in when we were growing up, at least, you always have these good aunties that you can dialogue with, and they can advise you, and they can give you more booster. And you don't have okay, you are struggling for money. They will just elevate you. They sell. They're already established aunties, so they will just take you on a chaperone and show you the way. But now I think even those people are misusing it. They show you the
so we
way.
have a question. He
Uh-huh.
said, is it always right for a woman to leave their marriage at the slightest notice of abuse?
No. Remember, I said it is not just because it happened. Is you getting out, because I don't know how many times you'll be married. If that is it, somebody can call you out today and say, "Honey, I'm sorry," in the morning. But you have to let them know. Yeah, I understand you're sorry, but it's not acceptable. You can't just say, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's okay." No, it's not okay. It is not acceptable.
Yeah,
So you have to speak up when it's not acceptable. Or can we do counseling? Or like I said, like I was saying, like all these aunties, or you find a couple that been married for 30 or a longer time, and you know that they're happy. You see them, they're happy. You've been to their home, they're happy. You can adopt them as your, as a mentor, as a guidance, as a marriage counselor. But some of them too, you need to be careful, because the man may take your wife, and your wife may take your husband. But you need somebody that's older. You don't want the same age range. You need someone very older. Maybe their children are about your age as well. So they, whatever they want for their kids is they might want for you as well. So those are the ones that you look for. I'm not talking about those of you that are still going to party together and looking for husband and wife. No, you want a seasoned person. They're ready. You're probably about the same age as their kids, or they're already grandparents, and they want your success at heart. You've been with them. They say they can help chaperone. The husband can, talk to your husband and give him guidance, and take him out. And it's not only that. Like when uh, you know when I was raising my kids, my doctor will take my sons out. He said, "Tell Wale, tell Wale to come and have breakfast with me and make me at the clinic." Of course, he's not Nigerian. And there was nothing. It's just a patient. He likes the fact that I just admire you. I was a consultant in his clinic, as a nutritionist in his clinic. And he would take my sons out. He would talk to them. So, but we don't have that in our society, and that's what is sad. I mean, what that man was doing for me, I would have want my Nigerian to really kind of do that. But when you don't have it, you take where it's at. It
true.
doesn't have to be Nigerian. It can be a black American, it can be a white American, as long as they have your best interest at heart. It can be in a church if you're a Christian. It can be in a mosque. In fact, even as of my younger one, my in my mosque, yeah, they will take them on. So you,
Ekene is police officer in Nigeria too. He was the one that asked that first question. He's a guy. He's in Port Harcourt. He had a follow up to say. He said, women have also internalized toxic expectations about what a good wife should tolerate. So, with what he said now, if a woman is married but emotionally alone, is leaving the marriage always the answer? Why or why not?
I would say more, why not? If you're emotionally at disadvantage, and that guy was also right in that question. Our expectation before before you get married, you will go and sit with one woman that will tell you everything that should marriage should be like. You will get coached as a new bride coming. I don't think that exists anymore. So, as a new bride coming, so your emotion again, remember, it went to the foundation of our problem. It's from our fathers, from our parents' house. It is from our parents' house. If you're not emotionally intact, and you're looking, oh, when I get married, my husband will take care of you. Okay, your husband is coming into, like, if I get married, my wife will take care of me. So who's going to take care of each other? You need to be emotionally in. We call it emotional intelligence. You need to be emotionally developed. Life is give and take. It's not always going to be sweet and honey,
And it's not always about me, 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 me.
and it's not always
You have
about
to
me.
compromise.
Don't, you see Hajia, she's all dressed and flashy, and this Hajia, she's all Ibaya and all that. Which one do you
It's
want
all
to?
good.
Which one does your husband feels like is more attractive to him? You have to identify with that.
And
Just because
also, he also has to identify
that's
with
why
what
I'm saying,
you feel
because
comfortable with. Because you don't expect to pick me up with my abaya and then tell me to
and then
start
you want me
wearing
to be
sexy because
well,
that's not what
or
you
something
me.
else. Well,
So pick
what Hajia
whatever you are
said,
comfortable with and
yes,
don't come in and tell somebody who is already wearing hijab to take off her hijab when she's not comfortable with doing that.
but you
So
know
that
what? This is a school for both men and women. You
mhm.
can take off your hijab when you are in the house. I can wear my stiletto and do bar dancing when I'm in the room. If that's what attracts him, that's
Now,
okay.
I'm not saying that for outside. Some might not be okay to do that, which is fine.
Yes,
Not
outside.
everybody
Yes.
wants to anybody to see maybe their hair or
Or
so, but
just
you
feeling
find
of,
that some men would marry these women and say, well, now you need to take everything off. Well, when I was with you, I was covering
I was
everything, and
covering
that's what,
everything. Yes.
or
And
when I was
that
with you, I was
happens.
opening everything. So, hey, it's the
We've
give
seen
and take.
situations like that. What I just said, we've seen situations like that. And it is totally wrong on both sides to really put someone in that situation, because once you met her covering, that is what you love about her. Now, because you are now attracted to somebody else or whatever attraction or fantasy, remember, once you tell her to take it off, first of all, she's not happy with you. She already starts some friction right there. And then you may be creating another problem outside, because people that has never seen her like that, like, wow, this woman is that beautiful. I wonder why she's always covering her head. Ah, madam, wow. Ah, mo gbadun yin gan ni. Now you've created a whole new scenario that you're not even ready to deal with. So men be careful, women be careful. So I wouldn't say totally that the first time you all have this, because you will, I tell you, even marriages that last 50 years, when they sit down and tell you the sour part, you'll be like, eh? So what were you doing there? So, but it's the understanding. Both of you are working together. Actually, we all
Faith
come from.
said, Faith Dennis said, know what you're going for and do not try to change who the person is. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Islamia said exactly.
Exactly. So we have to know exactly where we are. All this unnecessary expectation, or you comparing my Mr. XY house to Mr. BSY. So it's that's where the problem comes. Be mentally balanced and give service to others. Once you give service to others, you think less of yourself. When we're growing up, don't always look at those that are up there. Look at those that are below you as well. And that may be part of the problem, because now social media, we're all open to the world
Oh, yes.
going on to the in there, and I can see what it. Oh, so this is how, when we were growing up, hey, you're lucky if you know what's going on in Abekuta and you're in Lagos.
Now it's crazy that even some people have a fear on the internet. They don't
On
need to
the
see each
internet.
other.
say, well, I mean, in my days, well, you have to mail the letter to your boyfriend that it will
That's
take.
where you find people having their, you see some crazy things going on. Sometimes people will say, oh, they sent sex tape, they did this, they did that.
Exactly.
Crazy things are happening now. Now people don't even have to see each other to,
Exactly.
say they are sexting each other through the phones. So
Yes.
that's just crazy.
And then
Islamia
the
said,
impact of social media on domestic violence also is very high. Digital abuse and all
yeah,
that is very high. So we need to be very, very careful and really stay focused with our mind.
true. Islamia said people should understand that you cannot change who is not ready to change. And she said people are going through a lot in their marriages. You don't even know, you know. And Ishaya said, seriously, Ishaya is also a police officer who is one of the security experts on the Amina Jimoh platform. And he
Mhm.
said, seriously, I have had cases to which I have attended to, but most at times, after the resolving both parties or making efforts to prosecute the abuser, then the abuser or the complainant would want to voluntarily withdraw. We see that a lot here.
We say that. We do see that a lot.
So
And
if I is talking from what we've been going through at AJF2, you pay money, do this, do that. Tomorrow, the same person that came online disturbing you will now say, ah, Ajay, I'm sorry, ma, I want to go back. Then the same idiot, sorry to use that word, will come back and tell you, oh, I want to you to go and help me prosecute it again because I went back and he hit me. I'm like, are you crazy? You think somebody has money to be going back and forth? Once you
let's
see
say
somebody
let's
help
say
you
you're
one
in
time,
a
you think
situation.
it will now be like 24/7. It does not work that out.
Let's say you're in a situation, because that's a good analogy. She just, you're in a situation where you're being abused. It is okay to be separated for a while. Let each one identify what the issue is. You have to seek counseling while you're separated. You have to determine at that point the grounds for return of to, even Islam accepts it. Separation is granted for you as a woman. Go read Surah to Nisa,
And
because
I
we all
believe
just,
Christianity accept that's true.
yes. So when you're separated, while you're separated, it's not that you start dating. Of course, for women, it's very restricted. You are working on an issue that you have with some expertise, not just on your own. Get some marriage counselor, some therapist, some spiritual guidance, or what. I'm not saying go and sleep in the mosque and start praying. That's not what I meant. Or go to church and pray, 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 pray. That is not
Yeah.
spiritual counseling.
Mm.
That is, you need someone that knows how marriages are supposed to work in your faith and have the right scripture to guide each one of you. That's what I meant. So
And
I,
to add to what Hajia has stated, it's not because somebody is an imam or somebody is a pastor that tells you that that person has the ability to have the capacity to talk to you about marriage. Sometimes they can, but sometimes they'll use your problem to even come and give
to,
wazi
uh,
or
so
preaching in court,
even marriage
and
therapy,
even mention your name. That is not what we are saying here. Like she
even
said,
marriage therapy,
therapy, counselor.
get referral. A spiritual counselor can be a spiritual mother, like I would call it, a spiritual father. None, I'm not talking about, and I'm not taking away from our imams or our pastors or anything. You have to know what their strengths are and how they've resolved that issue. Within your masjid, do they have marriage counseling? Within your churches, do you have marriage counseling? And if that doesn't work, if you don't feel comfortable in that environment that you go to, and you don't want people to know your affairs, you can seek outside help.
And
On
like you also pointed out with the police officers saying they might be the abuser too. Believe it
Right.
or not, the pastor or the imam too can be an abuser
Oh
and
yeah, that's
enable
what I'm
this.
saying.
So that's
But
why
what
we
you're
kind of
telling,
like, uh-huh,
actually what the problem you took to them might be minute compared to what they do at home.
exactly.
There's a situation at my masjid, and she's my spiritual daughter. But every time you even try to, like the our brother was saying earlier, sometimes our expectation as women, and I said, why are you complaining? You don't even work. Your husband is the one that you want this, you want that. Face your life or come and volunteer in the masjid. But anyway, at one point I said, okay, go talk to the man. Then she'll come back and say, say what the imam says. And I'm like, see, I told you, you need to work on yourself. Sometimes we women are the problem. We have too much time on our hands. You have too much time on your hands to worry about what a man does. So, as a woman, I'm telling you this as a fact. You have too much time on your hands. So, it's either you are not managing your time well, or you're not focusing on the right issue for yourself and your kids, that the man became a priority. Because if the man is supposed to be your breadwinner, he's out working and doing his job and doing his thing, why are you worried whether you call somebody on the phone or not? You're giving yourself mental stress. Somebody calls him on the phone. Is that your business?
Well, maybe it can be her
No, hold
business.
on. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. With when I'm talking about the sexy woman, I'm not talking about those that,
Okay, okay.
because if you're a housewife, a full-time housewife, and I tell people, kudos to you that are full-time housewife. Oh. Alhamdulillah, God did not
It's a
nominate.
big job they do,
I,
but people
I,
think they're
God,
just,
I,
sitting
Allah
there.
did not nominate me as a housewife because I don't know what could have happened. So I say kudos to them because it's a lot of, I mean, this is a
It's a
24
lot of
hour,
work.
being a mother, a wife. We that are out there working think we have 24 hours job. No, they have 24 hours job. So in that space, you also have to create time for yourself, a little time to relax away from the kids, away from the house, or maybe you're going to join a mother and baby group so you all can do activities that will help your mental state. In Nigeria too, you all can do it at your faith-based organization, or just have a group of you. Maybe you cook, or you just have a little picnic. When we stay in Nigeria, that I take my kids for picnic. So you can't say in Nigeria there's not. We growing up, we went for picnic. So there's still areas that are safe that you can go to. So,
You
but
can even create something at your own backyard.
thank you,
You
Jerry.
don't have to go
You
pay.
have to
You
go
can
and
have fun. You can have family quality time
yeah,
without using money.
without exactly family. Everything does not involve money. Honestly,
Exactly. You
everything
don't
does
have
not involve
to be
money.
like the Joneses and copy your neighbor and later start crying that you have
Uh-huh.
bills to pay.
So when we were growing up, we do tente, we do I
Yeah.
do this one that we do as well. Everything
Like
is
Santa they play with the sand.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that was good. So everything does not have to be social media. And if you don't need to have an iPhone 10 or iPhone 30, don't buy one. Be-
No.
So look at what gives you stress and just minimize it. And just minimize it. As a woman, have time for yourself. Do your me time. Let your children be at home, or let somebody watch your children for an hour or so. Find your me time. And it could just be like you're sleeping.
Yeah.
It could just be like you're just listening to some music. It's just like you just go and sit somewhere. You don't even have to be with friends. Do you ever want to be quiet by yourself and just listen to the sound of the birds? You wake up very early just to hear the deer crow or whatever. You know, those type of things. That is what settles our mind. That's what God has created to
True.
mind. I mean, I do mind, body, spirit. So sorry if I allude to that, but that is what calms your nerves. not digital. Don't wake up in the morning and grab your phone. That's headache. That is headache. Unless you really have a business without phone. Even if you do, I I recommend don't, because whatever is on that phone can wait. I was texting Hajia at probably 1 a.m. at time. I was up. I didn't expect her to respond at all. I just said we talk about it in the morning. So if you're reading it and you wake up, don't try to call me 4 a.m. my time. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Just learn to do things at your own time. Don't
So
overwork
some people would say, "Oh, you're online, you not respond." You don't have to. You respond when you want to.
when you want to. And
That's called.
I mean,
That's where your boundaries come in. Like,
that's where
okay,
your bound. If you have
this
a,
is me. Yes, I'm online, but I don't have to respond to you
I
right
don't
now.
have to. I was telling Nadia that I have pile of WhatsApp messages, and we are on WhatsApp messages that I've seen this message saying you spoke to me about something on Sunday. You want result by Wednesday. Hey, it's not a priority for me this week, honestly, and it's just gonna have to wait. And I was sharing that with her. What is your priority? What's not going to give you a headache? I buy my peace. Learn to find what is peaceful to you. And yes, I love is a wonderful thing. God loves us. He has given us everything. We don't need any man or woman to provide for us. But at the same time, He has given you a choice. Love, but don't love to kill yourself or kill the other person.
Yep. Ishaya said it's discouraging attending to such cases sometimes because
It
some
is.
he's the police officer for my foundation.
It,
So he goes through a lot. And I
it,
believe Ekenetu said the same thing. They both are police officers.
it,
So these
even
are people under the Amina
as
Jimoh Foundation who are saying what
even
they've
as,
seen with victims and their men. What
yes,
they've seen
even
with victims is like they rescue you and then you go back. That it's not encouraging them to keep, doing that.
and I see that, and I see that even as a health practitioner, health community health worker, I see that. And you just every time they come to me, I say, tell me what you want to do. You always have to let people make decisions. In our society, back home, we want to make decisions for others, and that's where the problem comes. And sometimes even when they are telling you what they want to do, because they're telling you that because they think that's what you want to hear. So you need to ask them, my police officers that are doing this work, I understand you're in this situation. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Once they don't answer you or respond immediately, whatever answer they come up with next is a lie.
And sometimes it can also be the pressure from the abuser that
Exactly.
tells them that if you do not come back, this is what will happen to you and your family.
Exactly. And that's
So
why
you
you
have to
like
be patient with the victim because sometimes they have to really trust you to also tell you. There I've seen people that will say for years I've been with people I could not tell them my story. And here I am surprised. I'm telling you that I've never met from another part of the world. I've seen people from South Africa, from different places that will confide in me and say, I've never felt this comfort. Sometimes victims tell you not because they are dumb, they know what to do, but they want someone to listen to them. Maybe
it,
they have families that are not listening. They just
exactly
want somebody to put everything away and truly connect with them at that
connect with
point.
them. And that's what I was saying. Like you have to be able to do that. Listening when you're asking people to tell me what they want, it's a method of listening, because you're asking them, what do you want to do? And while they're saying it, you can say anything. And then even after they told you, you say, okay, are you sure? What are some of the steps? You are your own caregiver. What are the steps that you think you can do, or whom do you know that can be of support to you? You see that I have not given you any
Advice. That was what I was gonna say. That most people think sometimes Ajay will say, "Oh, leave their husband," because there were some people that will say, "Oh, they left their husband. I should come and give a palm." And I say, "Does this look like divorce junction?" You know, It's not about leaving anybody. And this is not even domestic violence platform. It's because I saw lots of women coming for help with domestic violence. That's why when the musician sang the thing for the foundation, she put it in there so people can feel comfortable and victims can feel comfortable to bring their cases. So, yes, I would always say it's not a domestic violence platform. However, we do support domestic violence victims because it's an anti-domestic violence platform. But that word, I think some people don't know the meaning, anti-domestic violence platform and domestic violence. So that's where we are at. So the next question will be, how does society shame women into staying silent about their pain?
If you look at in our society, in our culture, again we talk about being married and staying married. When you go somewhere, the fact that somebody can say, Mrs. I don't know why people think that's, I mean, it's glory. So if you have to call me and say, oh, that Bola, whatever, just because there's no Mrs. or whatever, does that mean less? So the group of people, and that's why the group of people that you mess with also idea, especially in this day and time. Back in the days, I can see why they do certain things, but this current 21st century, you should not feel whatever the society is. Whoever is putting you to shame, believe me, they're probably low self-esteem people too. Because some people shame others just to feel big because their own self-worth is not there. So and again that question, because we put societal values on ourselves rather than our own value on the society, that is where the conflict starts. Is the societal values, is it actually, is it healing? Is it healthy? If it's not a societal value that you should take to heart. And who calls it societal value? It is what majority thinks it is. Yes, in the olden days, woman from a corny. Once you're at that age, they find a man and they you woe you to that man. This time, I don't, it's not common, even if it's been done. So, whatever society thinks, do you align with it? If you don't align with it, please stop worrying your brain.
Thank
Please.
you. What's the biggest myth about African marriages that's keeping women trapped?
Ah, ṣé o gbowó ta ná fún ìyàwó yẹn wá sọ pé ò ṣe mọ́? Ó jókòó ni o.
Mama just said, with all the money they spent on you for the marriage, you are not going anywhere. You have to sit here. That's what they say. Na riga na biya sadaki ki ba inda zaki je. Abin da suke cewa ke na riga na siya kayan kwalli da duk komi da komi. Ina kuwa zaki ce zaki je.
Now, let me tell you another one. You will laugh. My mom, that's why I say our parents, told me, ah, ó rò pé bàbá ẹ̀ dá ni. Bàbá ẹ̀ náà ń ṣèyàn dáadáa. Tó bá tó bá lóò máa rí, mo ní ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn náà forí tì. Mo ní that's your own problem. Ìwọ ló forí tì, èmi kọ́. And I didn't ask you to. So
My
sometimes,
mama, that's why I love you.
so when we had that dialogue, wá fi jẹ àwọn grandmother, àwọn great grandmother, mo ní àṣebọ́n ṣe oríire, ilé ìwọ jogún létí ìyá mi kọ́ nà. So
Ọlọ́run jẹ́ ká jogún òṣì.
so you have to look at it. That's your own parents, and because society say we have to respect our parents. If I fall a victim to that woman, she's now gone. So you have to. We still have to honor them. She just told me about,
Absolutely.
and I knew my father differently. I know they have the, husband and wife relationship, but my father was sweet, was nice. He buys me things, he gives me whatever. Even what I didn't ask for, he give it to me. But here's my mother saying, Okay, Baba dad. Baba no say your dada.
So Oropeba Beda is Kinachiko Baba and Kimayana the Kyone. Do you
Yeah,
think your father is better off
you
than
know,
the
you
person
think
you're
your
complaining about?
I'll say it in English for those that don't know. You think
Good.
your father is any exception to all these men you're complaining about? I stayed in a marriage because of you guys and just went through it. And I told her that, I'm glad you did for you. Because if
For
it's for me,
you.
then you didn't do it for me. I'll tell her straight. She knows I'll tell her straight. You didn't do it for me because I didn't ask you. In fact, because you stayed, that's why I said, Allah my king really. I will not take this from him. And he's my father. And I saw some of those things she's talking about. But he's not abusive, but it's just one man. Men will always be men in Nigeria at their age then. He will do that, but he doesn't. You are the one that's frustrating your life because it goes around and without this,
So
you know.
see how Hajia said her father was not abusive. However, she knew her boundary of what she can take. So she's making it clear that although this is not abuse, but for me, it's a no-go area.
Area. It's a no-go area. So you won't be worrying yourself about whatever. And he knows how to appease my mom too. Some men are like that in Nigeria too. Your wife get mad, you buy her a car, or you go stock up her store, or you go do something. Me, I'll take it, but you're still in the doghouse.
Oh, goodness. Woohoo. How can men and society stop contributing to this cycle of emotional neglect?
A lot of awareness and education, dialogue at the table, talking to our children at a young age. This is what is accepted. Even when we see our children doing something abusive towards one another, don't tell them, hey, well, like, now you have to, no, 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 no. What's wrong is wrong. Correct that action because that's what leads to all this other mountain of stuff we're talking about. Uh, during our own time when we're growing up, which is part of the problem of our generation, women, you are supposed to like just you do all the house chores, and my brothers will just be sitting there and they'll go and play ball. And they want to come home and eat. No, me, they will not eat. When their mother comes, you can feed them. But while I'm at home and in charge, they will not eat. So we need to like, and you can see that it's something I've just not always accept, even in our setting. But those are the kind of things that a man will take advantage of and use when they get married. Even when my mom is not there, my sister cooks now, she cleans, she does this, and we still get our way. No, you can get your way. It's a joint effort where we're supposed to collaborate, we collaborate. Where we're supposed to,
Absolutely. So there's no gender role in
there's no gender
household.
role. But back in those in our time in the late 50s and
It
they,
still happens up to now. It still happens. You'll
well,
find some women, sorry to say, mostly these mamas that live in Lagos. Sorry, I had to say it.
yes,
I find most of them, I find the Yoruba men that are raised in the north more into like thinking about, okay, my wife,
my wife.
what do I do? And then I find the ones who live in Lagos, to be specific, they have this, some of them, not all of them,
Not all
they
of them.
have these toxic mothers who feel they've been through abuse. So
Hmm.
their own children's wives have to go through the same cycle.
Oh
And I
yes.
did
Oh
post
yes.
something about that this
Oh
morning
yes. Oh
on
yes.
the
They will do
platform.
that. Some of them will
Yes.
do as well. And my own thing is that okay, if you're asking that of that girl, would you accept that for your own daughter? And the answer is usually no. If the answer is usually no, and I tell my boys, if you check by me, you can't kill me because I'm the only woman in the house. You go to the kitchen and cook too. I want to have food when I come. You should be able to cook rice. I have friends, husbands that can't even boil water without burning it. So me, I'm always traveling or going on conference. That man will eat salad or be going to churches fried
Mama
chicken.
is currently out of America as we speak right now. She's at another conference.
Ah,
You know?
so you will have to be very straight. If I have to sit and babysit the man, and I'm not saying no, there's a time in life when you do that, but there's a time you find value for yourself. So once you are learning to do that, and your co-partner or your significant other or your husband cannot even cook rice because you are not at home. I understand. I can prepackage the sauce and the stew and the meat, but you should be able to bring it out and feed the children when I'm not there.
Exactly. Because you have some women, like Mama said, yeah, there are some women who is work and they don't mind you having a side piece as a other wife to do whatever. And there are some women who honestly I've seen here in America who go to work 40 hours, leave that job, go to the store, buy groceries,
Mm-hmm.
go back to daycare or the child's school, pick those kids, come back home without resting, going straight to the kitchen with the heels on, cook, even do all this moi moi. You know how hard it is to prepare moi moi?
I tell
There
you,
are some crazy mother-in-laws who come here who will say, "Oh, they cannot eat moi moi inside
foil.
inside foil.
I
You want to kill them. You want to give them cancer." There was a mother-in-law that made one of her daughter-in-laws to go 2 hours drive. She came from all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, to this America to come and find a way. That was the first time this girl had to go and find a way. Now,
Uh-huh.
the person who is telling somebody to go and find a way, sorry to say, is from one boy's quarter. And the person that is finding a way came out from a mansion. But that child had to go and find a way. So sometimes when people say iteriba, iteriba means to, have respect
To
for
be
the husband.
respectful. You
It's
can't
not about that rich child not having iteriba. It's because, like Mama said, that useless self-esteem that they don't have, they look at it like, okay, they have to abuse you to feel less of yourself.
self.
Is why they do that. Imagine somebody that live that all their life they don't even know what a way is, or maybe they've had house girls that prepare food for them. You're not finding a way for one mama that has one boy spotter that has not gone anywhere. So this is part
Even
of what
with that,
women go through to
even
keep
with that,
marriages.
sometimes you need to set our parents right when they come here, when they come abroad. Uh,
You're right.
the expectation of what happens in Nigeria and what should happen in the Western world is totally different.
Or even if, like you said, it's okay to ask for that, but a man has to know aye yaoto, aye yawoto.
Exactly.
Meaning, a man has to know his wife's place and his mother's place.
Yes.
Domin ba yi haka ba, abu kawai zai bata ne, zai daru. You know, that will just be all the risky for everybody. Go
We
ahead, Mama.
we always need to look at those areas as well. That's why I say in-law or ex-law. So you need to identify with that. If an in-law is coming, and those rules have to be defined before you bring them here. Well, I don't even know if anybody can come right now with what's on in America. So, but if you do happen to have them here, or if they're here,
Why Baba Trump?
uh-huh. And also sometimes, you wives don't think because we're talking about women, some women are abusive to their in-laws.
Yeah,
There's elderly abuse as well.
absolutely.
So we need to be very, very careful. But Oroju Yashomolori, talk about around. When your husband
Yeah.
is around, like you're a good person. But once that
Some
man,
don't even care. They maltreat the mama or the papa in front of the
I,
uncle,
yes,
and the uncle will just sit down there. So when we're talking about this, it's both gender
it's
that we're
both ways.
talking about.
So you can
You know,
see how
kí
it.
ìyàwó máa yé rẹ̀, kí
Uh-huh.
ọkọ náà máa yè, kí ìyá ọkọ máa
Our,
yè.
uh-huh.
Everybody should know their place.
So, I mean, you can see how this abusive of nature cut across age demographics and all that. So, if there's elderly abuse, it's basically the same thing. You see them even in Nigeria because you have to and just choke the woman or the food into her face or the man. So, those kind of things are there as well. So, we need to be very cautious. Again, if you value yourself, the respect you want for yourself, give to others. And
Yes,
they say, do as to others as you want done unto you. It's the same thing. So, before it becomes that, before it escalates to that, what is your own contribution to that situation? If you
Like
see,
we talked about elderly abuse, you find women, some women, not every woman, some
Mhm.
Nigerian women that I've come across will bring their mother-in-laws and be treating them like housemaid. What their own mother cannot go through, they won't even feed these women.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
bring them here and maltreat them, which is
Or,
so crazy. And you're like, what the
or you
heck
make
is going
macaroni
on here?
and cheese for a woman that's never even had noodles in her life.
Hmm,
No, eat it. She can eat that. To me, that's abuse,
that is abuse.
because that's
That's
what your
why I said
children.
some
That's
people
what your
don't know
children.
that other things are abuse. That's why we brought this show tonight. Because some people think abuse is only hitting. You
No,
know, it's
any
not.
if I use abusive language towards you, that's to demoralize you. That's
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah. That's
You
why you
know,
have to teach your children young, the male child and the female child, not to take it from anyone
don't
to
take
be
it.
abusive to them. Because you have to train them from home. And like Ahajia said, if you already have an abusive parent, that's the only thing these poor children can relate with. So unfortunately, they emulate this and the cycle continues. Now it's time for you and I to make sure that cycle breaks from now on.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
if you have the time, you can go to the Facebook because I don't want to read. It's a lot
Oh,
of
really?
stuff. It's on Facebook. I posted something called Real Hot Stew this morning. Go read it. I was talking to women about how women are the problem of another woman.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
read it. And how that causes domestic violence too. So, are women partly responsible for staying in toxic marriages because of societal or religious pressure?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Okay.
But there's the religious, just like I said, religion has guidelines. We should not always take what our imam pastor says. Your book, your religious books have guidelines for all this stuff we're talking about. So in Islam or in Yoruba too, they say they beat a woman so they can discipline her. Are you disciplining yourself? You that you are beating somebody, or to correct, to guide, to direct them? No, you that you are beating somebody, are you disciplined? Because if you are disciplined before you eat someone, even your own child, before you lay your hands on them, you would have done one or two things, corrective actions, or things like that. Or the reason why you're beating them must be very, very like ó fẹ́ lọ sí jail ní àbí kinní kan. So be very conscious of that word, how we use it. You are trying to, okay, she's already trained in her home, and you should have seen what kind of training she had before you married her. So if we're using it, and they said it's in the Quran, they said that you should beat a woman. They say you should, like, your two tap of hand to tap. You that you turn her into a punching bag. There's a difference too in what the Quran says and what you're all doing, because that's all they will always want to turn into the religious book. No, culturally, I don't even know where that came from, and that you should be beating your woman. Uh,
Abdurazak said, he said, it is not in Yoruba tradition to beat a woman. We
okay.
brought it into culture.
And let me tell you something. Thanks, Abdul Rashid. Right? If I'm correct.
Abdurazak.
Yes, it is not. When colonialism starts, and if you look at aggression, our culture is not aggressive.
He said, Odu Ifa, don't say oh. I don't know what Odu Ifa is.
Oduifa,
Oh, Odu Ifa, I didn't pronounce it well. Okay.
uh, um, it's not in our culture, because when you look at traditional way of life before religion, We are peace is a very mellow kind of thing. The flow of water is peace. And those that are warriors of defending certain things, not of beating women. When colonialism started, and I believe this is where all these things came in, and you can still see it in the Western culture. In US now, statistics says there are about 10 million domestic violence every year. In this 2025, 10 million cases, and out of that, 70% of it will be women, or a little bit over. So when you're looking at where it is, and we are emulating those things in our own society, we're crossing boundaries. Because when I was growing up, the woman start to act up. You just see the woman and the man pick up his agbada or whatever they are. They went to the men. They've left you women at home. So it became a thing that we were exposed to. That's why I'm saying when people curse and curse and curse and curse all the time, and you are saying you are rebuking it, well, you need to rebuke your mouth first.
You need to rebuke yourself. Just like after Razak said, you said, thank you, Hajia. You're making points. Most of what we do today, they are emulated.
Emulated.
Absolutely.
We've introduced what is not into ours,
Yes.
and that's why in Yoruba land, because we're the most that is exposed to this nonsense, we have there's a lot of dysfunctionality in that society that you don't know which one is now real. But if you are a good historical person, you will know that this thing did not start until colonization. So I want my login. They use I want low violence láti bá ẹlẹ́ni sùn. I want low violence láti ní pé kò dandan gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe ohun tó fẹ́ that you don't want to do. And the research is there. So we need to go back. When you have to look at the man before, they married multiple wives because they have to go to the farm. Say if you don't go and do the yam, you go and do the other thing. Everybody has their own task. Everybody knows their own role. That is the culture of Yoruba. But now when we
Those days, I guess, Mama, they marry multiple wives to help them with farm and all that, right? Or are
yes,
they the ones doing it? So now the difference is these ones are married to be sleeping and not to be farming.
so the difference now, when religion and other things came in, they said now you can marry more. But it is the same role because whatever Erioko and obìnrin ló máa lọ tà lọ́jà, and which women go to different markets. Even like my grandmother, like I was talking about, she's a traveler, she's a trader. She goes to different markets.
Islamia said, what you saw Yawan Dieru, meaning they've turned their mothers into slaves.
Yes,
Tipa tipa.
exactly. So that is where all that came into society, and nobody is balanced, nobody knows left from right. We want to be Western, yes, we want to be cultural. What do we want to be? What do we want to be? So again, it goes back to what? Self-identify yourself and know that's which you are and what you're not. Don't let anybody tell you what you need to be or what you don't need to be. I mean, in the society that we lived in, people always ask me, how do you just do what? I mean, no, I'm going to tell you, if I want to wear a rambuba today, I'm going to wear a rambuba and there's nothing you can do about it if it does not affect my task at work.
Absolutely. Islamia said women have been going through a lot since.
Yeah,
Yes, they really have been.
yes.
Okay.
Our
Is it
role,
time? Is it time for African society to redefine what a successful marriage really looks like?
it's time for Africa to define what marriage is in our own society. Not just successful, because you have to know what's the purpose of marriage. What are the values it brings? And what is it not for us as a society? There are a lot of things that needs to be redefined in Africa. There are a lot of things, not what has been imposed on us, but what exactly is marriage?
All right. What bold step can women take to reclaim their happiness even while still married?
It starts with dialogue. When it's over, if that other person is willing to dialogue, it starts with that dialogue. I noticed that, I observe that. Don't say you are, no. Again, you see what I'm saying? I want, I want, I would love to see us in a happy home. This is what it looks like to me. What do you think? So you're taking in the other person now opinion. Is there a middle ground that we will like to be? Or how can I make it better? And it's not like you do it one time and you say, yeah, well, because that's not what it. No, remember, you've been in this maybe 10 years now. So it's not going to rebuild in one day. And the first time you just call someone to the table that you've never had to dialogue, they'll look at you and say, okay, I hope she's okay. Or he calls you to the table and he's never asked you for your opinion. You'll be wondering, am I being set up? But it starts with trust, staying engaged, and staying engaged again. It's going to take a while, but it can be done. Small steps all the time. When it gets too hot in the kitchen, what do?
You
You
step
get
back.
you stay back. Or we're moving too fast. This is what we want to achieve. Okay, we're starting November in a couple of days. The rest of this year. And this actually, this next 2, 3 months is going to be very, very volatile when it comes to the domestic violence too.
Because we're actually, October is the Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes.
So, and some people don't know the meaning of purple. Purple in America represent domestic violence, and you see a lot of people wearing that sometimes,
Yeah.
survivors and things like
That's
that.
why I have my little purple hijab. I have,
Oh, well,
I have
that's
my
nice.
pen.
Uh-oh, there's nothing purple here.
So,
Just from your
I
lip gloss.
well, but
So,
but exactly that's where how you want to approach it.
okay.
We
So,
will be.
Hajia said, marriage is not all about claiming misses. Marriage is a big and long journey. Faith said, some highly think it's all about achievement. Marriage is not an achievement.
it's, it's actually a task. It's not an achievement. It's part of growth. It's part of development. But when you say you have,
Exactly, like you just said, it's part of growth. Stanley said, marriage is an institute, not meant to be rushed into.
yes,
Okay. How can women start healing emotionally from neglect, abuse, or indifference?
I would say is always emotion. You're always gonna have to work on it because you will. It is like any other um thing that you may be addicted to or whatever, and you're trying to take a process or a healing modality. Um, First of all, accept and give yourself permission to heal. Permission that you're not perfect and that you're not imperfect either. That's very conflicting, I know that. But you are working on yourself to be the better version of you. So once you keep doing a little bit of that, and when you feel like your low time, find out what gives you energy back. For someone like me, I love listening to spiritual songs. For someone like me, I love traveling. I love good food.
Take me with you.
I love good companies. I know a few friends I can hang out with and we can go. And I don't mind going on vacation by myself. So don't be scared to be by yourself. I think that's most women's problem.
You need to find yourself in that quiet moment. That's
Yes.
the only way you would know when somebody's breadcrumbing you.
Yes. I've been to so many countries by myself for myself just to enjoy myself. So
Just
don't
like you're doing right now. I'm jealous.
so don't feel like and it let's say I'm in Lagos, and probably it would cost me transportation money, Uber money or something. But even if that's not the case, I can, like I just said, I can sit in my backyard and just listen to music. I can walk around my estates and just observe what's going on. So it doesn't always have to be something very fantastic or fabulous, or you have to spend extravagant. No.
Even if
Or
you don't have your meat or suya, you
uh,
can take your gari peacefully at
I
your
buy
market.
granuts and
Buy
gari.
your granola or pure water.
I'll buy your
Enjoy.
pure water.
Yeah?
Be
Wọ́n
at
ní
your level.
ẹni tó
That's
bá
what.
ní títí ẹni if you have contentment, you
Yes,
get where you
contentment.
want to go to. So it might not bóyá báwo ni I love to do my Yoruba way, but I don't always know them. Kò lè sí lónìí, but wàrà sí lónìí, but wàrà lè wà lọ́la.
All that,
You know?
you know,
You might not have
content
something today, you
not
can have it tomorrow. But be patient. Má wọ ọkọ̀ lọ́kọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́. You know,
somebody
don't
bad.
go join
Another
bad
problem
gang because
with
somebody's doing Ferrari or waiting.
uh
Some people will say it's
another
better to cry inside Lamborghini or Ferrari. I don't blame them now. Before I used to tell women not to cry inside it. There's nowhere to cry. I'll tell you that. There's nowhere that it's good to cry in. However, I understand what they are saying. Because like Mama said, the population of people that are even doing this domestic violence are the talikas. Talika is like somebody that does not even have the money, are the ones beating the wife. The breadwinner, they are beating. So sometimes you sit down as a woman and think like, what am I even suffering for? So that's why you see some people saying it's better to cry in
and then
Dubai than to cry in Oshodi.
our government needs to take part in eradicating poverty.
Yes.
Women, widows. I know when I did the Lagos Women Run last year, they were saying they give widows money. I don't know how many collected, but empowerment in economics, in finance. I alluded to that earlier. Uh, you know, small things like that, just to boost your own morale. Go from a 1,000 naira trader to a 5,000 naira trader. And there's been some empowerment program that has been done by so many NGOs, but also you that you are being helped, because it goes two ways. It's not when you know that you always have 1,000 and now somebody give you 5,000. That's when you know that you have actually a big to buy. No, or somebody is a problem to
Thank you, Mama. You just said my mind. Because
no.
we've been doing empowerment since we did this foundation launch in
You
Nigeria. Since June. Is there are some we posted, some we've not posted since June, and they've been financial empowerment. And you find out that a lot of people don't know that even if Ajay is not monitoring you, I know people who are lying and people who are telling the truth. There are some people who have been empowered now that will now go and use that money to buy one rubbish wig. When they came
Yeah,
crying, they said they
wait,
want to
that's when you
do
want
pure
to
water or they want to buy wosi or something. But now, some of them are not doing it. There was one that one of my PAs reached out and asked her a question, and she got upset saying, like, if you do something, why do you have to ask?
Uh-huh.
So this is like a
So
foundation. If they give you something, before we don't even used to post it. But just for creating awareness is why we
mhm.
started posting some of the things. There are so many things going on. We did a lot of empowerment today too to celebrate Princess Asana, but we did not post it. So sometimes we choose to post it, sometimes we choose not to post it. But what are we saying? It's just like Mama said. Sometimes you give out this money and it's not used for the main purpose of why it should be used. So even if somebody is giving you 1,000 naira, that's their hard-earned money. Nobody gives me money in my NGO. Nobody has ever given me one dime. People can say they get whatever from wherever they are getting it, or maybe they are in America, they apply for whatever. I've never applied for anything. It's the little that the Almighty Allah, the Almighty God, that has given to me since 2008 that this thing has been established. Nobody has given me one cover. Even people that came for the foundation on
Mhm.
politicians, you know how they lie. Sometimes they will say, "Who I'll
They,
give this." Some
uh,
people that announce they will give, they did not give any cover. And I'm saying it now so that people will be aware. Because me, I don't like people that lie. Don't say what you do
you
not
do not
what
know.
you do not. Again, I'm not saying this to make you look low, but I'm just trying to have you have a rethink to have credibility. Don't say what you're going to do, I mean, what you're not going to do, just to get people to say praise you.
Well,
No,
that's
I
common.
don't roll with people like that. I don't roll that way. You're not going to do something, don't say it. Nobody's forcing you to. And even the people that you're giving, you don't have to give them if you don't have it. It's only what you have. You know,
Mm,
like Motiu said here, he said something in Yoruba. I just saw something here. He said, there was something he said that I really wanted to. He said, Ma wo agwala go shishe.
how
Don't
Allah.
look at another person's watch to judge yourself. If
Mhm.
you do that, you just go and end up hurting yourself.
Just
So,
start where you are, wherever you are. Start there and take those small steps. That will go a long way, and we give you more peace of mind than trying to run a mile in 1 yard. So those are the kind of things that you want to, and even government has a role. Each constituent in Nigeria, they have a role, and the money is honestly. I've happened to take a look at the budgets. Not since Batty has been there, but prior governments when I was working on NGO for our educational fund. But uh, the government do allocate money. But like I said, because we people, we don't know where to ask, whom to ask, and they do something else with it. But
or the people who know also give it to their families. And at the
exactly,
end of the day, the main target that are
are
supposed
not
to get these things are not getting it.
are
It's
not
just
get
like when I did this book launch in Nigeria, and my lovely MC, he's a barrister, Abdul, I'm even forgetting his name. Let me just look at it. I'm so sorry, Abdul Latif. Abdul Latif said, "Oh, we're going to be sharing books." And I corrected him and I said, "No, all the people here have the power to get these books.
books.
We're not doing that. I'm sorry." And I apologize to them that I don't want to hurt your feelings. This was one of the books. And I said, it's like a notebook. So I said to them, I said, we're going into the villages to give children these books. We've been
This
doing all this as the outreach programs.
yes,
Because sometimes people don't know the meaning of underprivilege or waiting.
they
They want to
don't.
collect. And I'm like, what's wrong with this one? You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to re-educate them. All these giveaways I'm doing on Facebook, sometimes even family will say, oh, that's not meant to be your target. I get it. That's not meant to be my target, but sometimes I do it because I know what people are going through. It's
Yes.
why.
Mhm.
Not because I don't know where the targets are. Like today, we had an outreach program in Jos. We still had another one yesterday.
Mhm.
Because those are the things that you have to, teach people out there.
Out there.
So they cooked, they slaughtered even, what do you call it, ram, and did
Ram.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, like I said, we might not be posting things because we're not looking for your approval to say maybe we are doing something or not. Because
Okay.
I've seen some people sometimes say, oh, what are you even doing? You open your platform and do what you want to do. And when you think
Anyway,
I'm not posting, I post like Mama said at my own pace. I don't have to. Whatever I want to, whenever I have to, I will do it. I don't look at Aguala Shisha. I don't look at another person's watch to do anything.
to do anything.
Now we'll be moving to the next question. How important are families, friends, and community in helping women break free from silently suffering?
They're very important. It's very important that we're there. And in the other faith, they'll say we are brothers keepers. Family, friends, community, we all have to stay engaged. We all have to be our brothers keepers. Even if it's to, okay, you'll have some argument, just come and stay here, or we have a safe place for that person to be for a night or a couple of days while we work on things. We have to, for those of you in Nigeria, learn to lobby the right thing with your politicians. Don't collect Ankara when these are issues that they need to be talking about.
Or rice, or agolo rice.
Don't collect 2 kg rice when this is what you want them to work. Of course, some of them might be even these people we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
But how do you want me to come and vote? That's why I don't, Nigerian politics where we don't talk essentials. We just talk vote me in. If you have Bale and KBCs, they're probably abuser or they got there like a thug as well. So you can you can these are things back in the days, these are things that Obas will be addressing.
That was why on the last show, when Prince Rahman from Oyo came, Oladigbolu, I asked him, I said, do they still choose these Obas with this Ifa or whatever? When
Oh
you
yeah,
talk about talks, right now was what made me laugh and said that. Because before, if a
we have
king
political
gives the
Obas
order in
right now.
Nigeria, everywhere will shake. Now it's like government is just talking to them anyhow.
If you're powerful enough and you can give the politicians some land in your community to make you Oba, you'll be Oba.
Wow.
You
Wow.
need to know
That's sad.
the chairman of local governments and just rub his hand and rub my hand and you'll be Oba.
Ewo. Wow.
So a lot
That's
of things.
sad.
And when we talk about abuse, this is part of it too.
It is.
We're talking as if it's just two people. This is leadership abuse of the on communities because it only when things are not done the way they're supposed to be done, they can turn out well. If culturally they are appointing Obas this way, ẹni tí ò bá fẹ́ jọba tó rí pòun ti gbẹ̀sìn tí ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ go through that way, then remove your name from it. That's the way tán ṣe ń ṣe.
So
But
if they don't want to go through the diabolic stuff, right?
yes, you remove your
Because
name.
I
But àwọn
remember,
afọbajẹ, àwọn afọba, even let's even say we're modernized. It's very easy to appoint Oba these days as well.
because
That
Islamia said they are still doing it in some places, like the
that's why I
fast
say
you said.
some places, but in
Mm.
places that they're not doing it, you don't want. If somebody is a tout and you have doctors and lawyers and educators and well-learned people that could bring the community growth, you don't go and take ọmọ area boy kan kò ní kó jọba because ó fẹ́ na gbogbo yín pa because that's a threat. If you don't make me ọba, that's a threat. That's abuse. And because of that, I know the commissioner or the whatever or the governor or this person, and I'm going to give them 5 acres of land on my clinic. You make me an Oba. Tell me the product that's going to come from that community.
That person would definitely want to get his money back too, if you don't know the tactics,
Most of
because
them don't even have
that's
money.
how politics works. Whether you like it or not, politics is everywhere in the world.
It's everywhere
Everywhere.
in the world. It's everywhere in the world. And I'm not
So
talking.
if they put 1 naira into it, they want to get it back. That's
Yes.
what people don't understand.
Or if I appoint you and I know that it's not like you're really entitled, I'm getting something.
Stanley said political obas, rob
Yeah.
and rob, robbery process.
Yes,
Rob people and
exactly.
people.
So most of the time you have to look. I know this is not about you, but even when we talk about
It's
uh,
okay. We talk about abuse, so
and when you
that's why
talk
I
about
came.
to your underprivileged, it is how you appoint leadership as well. It is an abuse. It's an abuse process to put somebody that's not capable or that's not going to look at the welfare of the people in that kind of leadership role. Because if I go to that kind of Oba now and say, okay, even I can't afford police, but this is our community Oba, let's go and say, I need, you just wage you off. I don't have time for that. Are you bringing money here or something? Because their fear, their fear is not
That's
about your welfare anymore. So
wow.
all those things are leaders. If we want things to be right, we as a society, Yoruba has to sit down and restructure their mind and their own deeds and their own atrocity that they've committed on their community.
Hmm. I know some of the royal people are watching because I'm looking at the names. So take this back to your palaces
Take it
to
back to
tell
your
your
palace.
people that we need change. Okay?
We need change all across,
Like
but
Mama
all our
said,
politicians, our Oba,
um,
the way you
in
have
those days, what I know, I'm also from a royal family. And what I know about royalty is when you talk, people have to listen to you.
yes,
That's the power you have. So why are we now using that now to not do the right things? Maybe it's time to reflect and go back
yes,
and go back to the drawing board and fix things where it has been damaged. If your forefathers started it, it's now your own time. Because I know there are some of the obas or the kings that watch my show. So I'm using this to talk to you as Queen Amina, as an ambassador, to go back to your drawing boards and fix your own region. By doing that, encourage other obas too or other emirs at your meetings that things have to change. I know it's not easy.
change.
It's just like me saying that somebody will jump into Nigeria and change Nigeria.
No, no, no.
Trust me, you have some good people working, but if it's just a few working, you won't notice it.
You will notice it.
So, but like Mama said too, change begins, like I always say too, from you and I. You cannot be saying that government should not be stealing and you are a thief too.
Abi,
Because
and
at the end of the
and
day,
you
some
twenty
of the useless ones will
thousand
tell
naira.
you, oh, rice price, local rice price went up because of dollar. When they did not go anywhere with dollar. This is people that are hoarding food from people to eat. So sometimes our the land for our shirawa.
Or when
Come
you
on,
even have
I don't understand how people are so heartless.
mhm. Or
And
why
now
would
you sit down because I'm
else?
not talking about Tinubu here or no Tinubu
No, no,
or,
no, no.
or,
This
or
is
whatever.
that's
But
what I'm
I'm
saying
just
to all our
hitting it the way it should be. If you're complaining about somebody, fix yourself also before you start fixing any government. You also have a problem. You know, you'll find somebody now. Some of them will come and say, "Oh, I just subscribed. You did not give me empowerment. Did I tell you to subscribe before you get empowerment? Is nobody is paying me for subscription here. So if you like, subscribe. If you like, don't subscribe. What we are saying here is giving back. That's why I always say a disclaimer that we're not your doctor, we're not your therapist. So whatever is
yes,
said here, you brought your leg here. Nobody forced you here to listen to us. Whatever happens during the show or after the show has nothing to do with us because we're only giving back to the society. Everybody have their own problems, like Mama said.
yes, we
But
have.
if we all are sitting down saying who is going to do it, like I said previously, nobody likes to touch DV. DV is domestic violence. That's why we came and talked about it and
That
heat
is
it
right.
on where it needs to be heat.
Mm-hmm.
So, for women watching tonight, what's one immediate action they can take to feel empowered?
Or address this issue.
Okay.
We still have people online, so I need
Yeah,
to.
they are. They are still writing their questions. We would like to wrap it up, so I'm just letting you guys know. But thank you for all the questions coming in. And somebody said many women are now the breadwinners, yet some men still demand princess treatments. Like I said before, Achalugo, somebody just wrote it. How can women navigate this and maintain balance in their marriage? I call them Achalugo. Okay.
For I mean, again, yeah, it's about boundaries. If you want, and it depend even in Nigeria, it's not new that women are economically at advantage. Sometimes it's nothing new. Uh,
Okay.
but at
Sorry
the
to cut
same
you off, Mama. I want to put this question together so you can answer it and we can round up.
okay,
You said many women are now the breadwinners, yet some men, as I said, demand the princess treatment. How do we handle men who feel entitled to respect or comfort while contributing little financially or emotionally? What advice would you give women who fear judgment from family or community to speak up?
I'm going to take the role back a little bit. For a man that is not financially able and has been married to a woman that's financially buoyant, you have to determine which part of your ego you want to heal. Is it the fact that she's making the money that you cannot? Or is it the part that your family is putting you down? Because it's not so much that the woman is taking that role, it's how that man feel about himself. And then some women, even when you make the money, do you belittle that man because of whatever is lacking? If those situations are not the case, demanding, I mean, using that word loosely, like is demanding prince or princess, right? It's still your responsibility as a woman to do the woman role. Either it's cooking in the house that you think is being, or the wifely duty in the other room, like our former president said. And
The other room. Mama, you're not saying it right. The other room.
the other, the other.
And
So,
don't you dare come for me and say I'm condemning one, whatever. The last time I checked, I'm Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. So there's
so
nothing about tribalism here.
but the only thing, and that's how people miss the point. It is not about criticizing; it's about what is in the society and how people are just either taking it or not taking it. So if that's not the case with a man, we all need our ego boosted. A little respect for that man may be an honor. So it doesn't feel less than. Because men, believe me, men's ego gets easily bruised, especially in that financial department. So you have to, and that's why I used Khadija and the Prophet earlier. Uh, so that's, if you look at that relationship, unless you're told, nobody ever asked where's the money coming from. So,
Because he respected himself as a man, and
as in,
everybody knows
and
their age. That's what we're saying.
yeah,
We're
but
not saying that do not
society,
respect your husband, but everybody should know their place.
yes, but in this current dynamics of greed of humanity, most men even abuse that privilege. So if you want the honor that God has bestowed on you as a head of a household, with or without money, you need to nurture your wife. You need to shield her. You need to protect her. You need to be out there overseeing that our wealth does not diminish, which is what our prophet Sallallahu Alaihi
Ó
Wasallam
jẹ́ pé
did.
ayé àwọn ẹlòmíràn á bá yín jẹ́ pàtó wípé ìwọ gan tó lówó ọ̀ lè
And
jẹ́ bọ́ọ̀sì rúnrún àwọn olórí
you will
ibú.
have to file bankruptcy at the end of the
You
day.
bá bankrupt àwọn olórí ibú. You
So
know?
those are the things that you want to. Is really when when you see the change, and that's why I said it's important. You must know that person first before all this situation arise. If you're well known to each other, and this is, you will have to like boost that morale up. Like go need now. You can buy a car and buy in his name when you know that you can afford it. Even if he wants to be the other, he wants to turn the Satan of himself, he can take a car and
Mama, disclaimer, oh, don't let somebody with this current situation. I used to tell women it's okay to buy something in men's name. Disclaimer, you're on your
disclaimer.
own. So,
I'm uh, I have this policy, this rule, whether man or woman. What I cannot give you, I won't loan you. So if you know that you want to hold it over his head because you bought the car in his name, please don't buy it because you just
no, I'm saying if it's not a gift, if
oh
it's something to repay back, if it's a gift, it's okay.
if it's a
But if
gift,
it's something to repay back, remember, it's whatever the court sees that they believe. So at
yeah,
the end of the day, you'll be the liar because he already has a draft of saying, she didn't give me anything, I didn't borrow anything,
I
and
didn't.
they'll believe him because there's no proof. So
So
if it is borrowing, know that you're on your own, is what
yeah,
I'm trying to say with the
so
disclaimer. But if it's gift, go ahead.
what I would say to that is really just try to boost his self-esteem up. You see that I use that a lot. Both men and women have it. Boost his ego, let him feel like the man, even if he's not. When you're outside, don't do too much talking because we're in a society that women are supposed to be seen and not heard. I don't know, but you're in that
When
society.
you talk too much. When you keep
Yes,
quiet,
when
you are
you
quiet. You are
uh,
being disrespectful too.
when you are quiet,
And
they probably say you are being arrogant or something.
arrogant.
How you
So
feel.
sometimes you don't even know what they really want women to do.
So,
And
and that's why I
some,
said it. That's why it
like
starts.
Mama said, buy it in the guy's name. Some will say desperation too. So you have to be careful. Because you can do it out of love. And one fool will say desperation. So right now you have crazy people that have different mindsets. Because when people are raised in love, they are different from people raised in survival mode. That's what I
Survival.
always say.
Yes,
So
that
know the difference and you have good go. You'll be good to go.
if you ask me, can I gift someone can I gift a man a car? Yes, if I can afford it.
Absolutely.
If I can afford it, I can gift him. But it doesn't make him less of a man. And I do it
No,
too. If a man
no,
can afford my
no, because most of Mama has boys now. I have a boy and a girl, and I teach them that both of you have to know your self esteem. Don't let anybody, don't say because I'm a man, I'm going to, make myself less. Don't say because I'm a woman. Everybody has to know their role in the boy and girl scenario. That's
senior.
where that comes in. Okay? And I find it disturbing. I'm going to wrap this up in 5 minutes. I find it disturbing that people blame women when boys don't turn out good. No, it's the role of a father and a mother to make sure that both children turn out well. When it's your mother that yani, abiti babani, I hate that rubbish. Hate is a strong word. Let me not
Àwọn
even
òwe
use
Yorùbá
that.
tó yẹ kán sọnù nìyẹn. Ọmọ tó bá
Yeah,
dé
they say
bàbá ẹ̀.
if the child is good, it's the father's. If it's bad, it's the mother's. That's what Yoruba say. I don't like that. That's not good. So let's change that narrative. Thank you so much for everyone who has been here tonight. If you've not already subscribed, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you would be notified when we are YouTube live or when meaningful contents are being posted. Like you see, we bring educative people to come and educate you. Not we don't do cha here. We talk about things that other people cannot talk about because this is the Amina Jimoh Foundation on the Amina Jimoh talk show, the midnight talk show. So, Mama, what is the last thing you have for them to take away before we end this episode?
I'm going to advise this, be here, be wherever you may be. If you're experiencing any form of domestic violence, seek help before it's too late. Talk to someone. Don't be a silent victim. And don't victimize yourself either. If you're an abuser, learn to redeem yourself. Find ways to find that demon that's making you that. Look into your past, look into yourself, and ask that question: why? And can I be a better version of me? So, said this, take time to reach out and touch someone, and reach out to love with passion someone and guide people aright. Don't be a selfish motivator. Okay?
That's true. That's why I tell them that it's not everybody that puts the life on that you listen to. Torí pé yàn dàgbà ò jẹ́ pé orí wọn pé àgbà ìyá wà, àgbà dada wà. What I said is sometimes you have somebody who is older that you think have sense but does not have sense. So it's not everybody you listen to. So you
Very.
have to know who to listen to sometimes and who not to listen to. And we're going to take this last question because I think it is very important.
Oh,
She
wow.
says, her name is Anne. She said, what do you feel about people who have restraining orders, especially here in America, how Africans look at you as the bad person for having a restraining order?
You did what's best for you, so why do you care? That's the only answer I have for you. If that's what's best for you, turn your cheek the other way. Let them go deal with it. I mean, it's your life, and you only have that one to live.
So someone said, just turn off from the general public if you need to really focus on your marital life. That's actually Stanley saying that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, sometimes you might need not to turn off on the general public because you might need the public
I-
later on. So that would be part of like the isolation. So I would say it's a give and take of who should I turn off from.
Um,
You don't want to be an island too. However, like I always say, be comfortable with yourself. Like Mama also said, be
be
by yourself because then you'll become unshakable. Even the abuser will be afraid of you because
afraid.
they know at any
Exactly.
goddamn point you can walk away.
Yeah.
People who have walked away is not like boundaries. We call it boundaries. Boundaries is not like you're shutting a door. Like Mama said, it's okay to have a restraining order. A restraining order is something that, for people who don't know the meaning of restraining order, is something that gives you protection away from your abuser. So they
Abuser.
can stay
I mean,
away from you because some people can be very aggressive.
they can't come within certain jurisdiction that you are. You all cannot be in the same space together. That's what your restriction, and they cannot call you um, without, if there are children involved, they cannot, you have to have a location where the children will be exchanged to keep you safe. So those are, is a preventive and safety measure for you and the other party as well. So you know, don't look at it as a bad thing. The only reason why somebody you have a restraining order against might be very, I mean, biased is maybe because they have something hidden in their closet. Because if I'm saying, you know, I just want peace and you want to force, this is what the restraining order is for. Just go think. Like I said, you all can be separated. So this is like a legal system of separation from words, actions, and too much closeness. So you all can go think. So restraining order is not really a bad thing. It's sometimes needed in a very volatile relationship.
Like Mama said, is to protect the two of you. So because one, we already know one is the mama or uncle violent.
Mm.
So just to be on the safe side, and sometimes children might be involved too.
Involved as
So
well.
that's why things like that have to be in place. So thank you so much for all of you who have been on this wonderful midnight talk show on the Amina Jimoh show. Kò sí èyí tó dàbí ajé, ẹ̀yin náà mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀, màá tún rí yín later on.
Okay, okay, sorry, thank you.
So, Esho
Uh,
Ma, thank
oh,
you so much, Ma, and we'll hope you'll come back next time.
anytime, anytime.
Enjoy your vacation
I will, thank you.
and bring back my goodies because you'll be seeing
Uh,
me knocking on your door in Tennessee with my next flight.
okay, you'll be welcome anytime there.
All right.
Okay,
Bye bye, Ma.
bye.
All right, everyone. So, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful time. And I appreciate you all being here, and we'll see you next time. All right. So, bye bye. If you've not already subscribed, do subscribe. Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Amina Jimoh Show at the Amina Jimoh. I know we talked about the empowerment. I just stopped the music to talk about that. That will be announced on Facebook. Thank you so much. And remember to be active. Don't only come for empowerment. The fact that I said we're not doing monetization does not mean that you should only be there for when they're giving stuff. I don't like people like that. I see it as it is, as you know it. I'm unapologetic when it comes to things like that. I love you and goodbye. God bless you. Jazakallah khair. Amina,